We're literally so back. We cannot possibly be more back. It's never been less over. Hey chat, it's Tuesday. It's 12 something. Close enough. I'm less late than I was, so we're trending in the right direction. I'm here today with a good topic, an overdue topic, a decent topic. And yeah, I got a great night's sleep. Actually, I'm not being sarcastic. Like, the weekend was pretty restful, so I feel better now. Yay. I'm glad. Happy to be here. Let's go. Someone said literally just in time. Yeah, you could not have joined at a more opportune time. Everything starts right now. I mean, not right now, because if you're watching and this is your first time and you're wondering what's going on, the first 30 minutes or so are exactly what you're getting now. Just the app session, honestly. I'll literally be talking about whatever. And then around the 30-minute mark of the stream, that's when we get into today's topic. Sorry. I'm getting like tongue-tied. That's when we get into today's topic, which would be Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie, their 6 children. A very long and drawn out debate. I don't know what you want to call it, but really it just kind of reeks of famous men getting away with everything as always. And I just think there's a lot of interesting moving pieces there about how people talk about him versus how people talk about her. The things that his PR team has been very successful at keeping the general public from knowing about. So yeah, I would like to look at pretty much all of that today. Because every single time I mention Brad Pitt, I always have like this fatigue in my soul, and I feel like I've never properly explained it. So imagine my surprise, sarcasm, when the last of his 6 children basically dropped his last name and was like, no, we don't want to be associated with you anymore. I was like, okay. I think I'm going to go ahead and just cover this today. Someone say your last stream helped me dust out my computer. I'm glad you're back, bro. I'm glad to be Brack. I'm glad to be Brack, and I'm glad to be back. Someone said, I probably won't be active in the chat due to my migraine rescue medication suppressing but not completely taking away my brain's attempt to melt down early this morning. Well, I'm just glad you had the medication. Definitely don't push yourself. Migraines are no joke, man. I don't have much experience with them, thankfully, but like we had them in my family, and I feel like people don't realize that those can literally leave you bedridden. It's not just like a headache. I literally have watched like a family member just be bedridden for days on end sometimes due to migraines, and I'm like, wow, people do not realize the range that you deal with this kind of thing. It was really, really unfortunate, but thankfully that person's much better, and I hope you feel a lot better too. I really, really do. Someone said I don't know who Brad Pitt is, not gonna lie, but I'm excited to watch. Oh, that's good. That's a good reminder for me to do an intro for everyone I talk about, because I actually kind of assume that most people would know. And probably almost everyone does, but if you don't sweat it. I will clue you in. Absolutely. I won't let you down. Or maybe I will. And you'll be like, D'Angelo, I had no idea who anyone you were talking about was, and I'm still confused. But I doubt it. I think we'll do a decent job today. Someone said, I don't know what time it is. I just know it's the distance between streams. Me too. I never know what day it is. I'm just like, oh, today I go live. Today I don't go live, but I put up a video. Today I go live. Today I put up a video. Today I sleep. I mean, I get enough sleep regardless. You can't run without sleep. And I love running, for real, for real. Someone said, I wish I didn't know who Brad Pitt was. Yeah, I think that's most of us. Like, we may know, but maybe we wish we don't. Or maybe some of you have no idea that there was ever any controversy. In which case, I guess I'll be the one to tell you. Someone says, is he the Scientologist? No. Are you maybe thinking of Tom Cruise? Unless I'm mistaken, I don't believe Brad Pitt is associated with Scientology, but Tom Cruise has a very similar career trajectory and image. And I do feel like most people just ignore the super weird aspect of him still being associated with Scientology in a big way. Someone said new water bottle. This is the one I've been rocking for a few weeks now. Mr. Rogers does not adequately prepare me for the people in my neighborhood, but I'm probably going to get a new water bottle soon-ish. Maybe. We shall see. Someone said it's a good day when I don't have work and D'Angelo's live. Yo, let's go. Party time. And by party, I mean just hanging out. That's my idea of a party. We didn't chat. Someone said, yeah, Tom Cruise. Yeah, I figured you probably meant Tom Cruise. Whenever anyone says Scientology, famous actor, that's immediately where my mind goes. For real, for real. Reading chat. Someone said, "What do you think about Ariana Grande and her current tour controversy?" Not much. I don't have too many opinions there. Someone said, "I think people confuse all the middle-aged white men." I can't blame them for that. I really can't. Someone said he dated Juliette Lewis and took an intro course for Scientology. Okay, I didn't know that. I did know that he dated Juliette Lewis when she was like 16, by the way. And yes, we are going to be talking about that today because that's just absolutely weird. Absolutely weird. Reading chat. Someone said, D'Angelo, would you say that sexism is what backs Brad Pitt's controversies rather than his PR team? It's his PR team leaning into sexism. This is what happens in all of these cases. Many such cases, unfortunately, it's literally the exact same thing that happened with Blake Lively, in which, regardless of anything she did or did not do, the PR team that was against her literally said, "Oh, we know that people online are sexist, they're misogynist, and they hate women, so let's just push this on purpose." And then it worked. Obviously the same thing has happened with Amber Heard, etc. So yeah, it's definitely column A, column B type beat. Someone said, didn't he also date Jennifer Aniston? He did, yeah. I think they were together, and then Brangelina happened, which is interesting. Someone said, I always mix up Ryan Gosling and Chris Pratt. I remember Chris Pratt for some reason, but I think that's because temporarily Guardians of the Galaxy was one of my favorite movies. And then I don't know. I just got over it. And now I don't even really particularly rate that movie one way or another. It's very silly. Someone said, can you talk about the Megan Plays and Leah Ash drama? I don't think I've heard about that. Maybe someday I'll look it up and then I'll see. Someone said, I defend Angelina just because everyone hates her, to be honest. I think Angelina Jolie's a great case of a person who's not perfect and who you shouldn't need to be perfect. I think she does a lot of really great things, actually, that I agree with and think are admirable, but also, like, she shouldn't even need to be, like, Saint, I don't know, Angie, for us to agree, essentially, that people's experience speaking up about abuse and things like that should not be ignored or dismissed, or they shouldn't be called liars or crazy because of an image they used to have when they were 20 and all this other stuff that I feel goes on with her. So yeah, I feel like she's a pretty complex person and it's interesting to talk about. Someone said, why do people hate Angelina Jolie? We're going to talk about it all today. A lot of it stems from the fact that at one point she was younger and did a bunch of weird things, which is definitely a reason to hate someone who is, how old is she now? Like 40, 50 something? And then, yeah, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you, chat. There's not really a valid reason today. Like currently, it's not because she's currently doing anything or has, yeah, I don't know. It's really weird. It's not really weird. It makes sense. Someone said, I just don't understand why people get married if they know they're a POS. Well, what do you mean by that? Do you not understand why POSs get married, or do you not understand why people marry POSs? Because I feel like those are two very different answers. It's very interesting. Someone said, so it turns out she's a person and people are multifaceted and flawed. Yeah, shocking news. I'm here to reveal today that Angelina Jolie is a human being. Shock horror. I know. Someone said, I didn't know anyone hated her. It very much depends on where you are on the internet. I feel like she has had a bit of a re-examining, thankfully, and probably in many of the pop culture spaces you're running in, people would either be completely neutral on her or appreciate her advocacy and stuff. But in other places, you can just as easily say like, oh, she's crazy. She is ruining Brad Pitt's life. She poisoned his children and stole everything from, like, and I'm going to show you examples of that. It's very unfortunate. And it sucks because a lot of this is being driven by Brad Pitt intentionally. Someone said sometimes you don't know that someone is abusive. Most abusers are really good at hiding it. Yeah, I mean, certainly almost no one is walking around like proclaiming this on a t-shirt. You know what I mean? They're manipulative and people are manipulated, unfortunately, into staying in scenarios that are harmful. So yeah, I would never really, I guess, blame anyone for that. Someone said, hi, fan from Iran. Hello. Someone said, sometimes even if you know you're being abused, it's hard to break out of the mindset that you secretly deserve the abuse too. Yeah, oh, wait. I'm going to change the title of the stream because I just realized we're talking a lot about that. I don't want somebody joining the stream and then freaking out. Like, understandably, I'm not blaming you because I just feel like this is really heavy commentary and I didn't think about it from that perspective. Okay, so I'm going to put TWDV. Okay, great. Save. Okay, I changed the title of the stream because I just realized, like, having a long conversation about domestic violence it's just really intense. You don't want somebody like, ooh, Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie drama, and then we're here discussing the intricacies of why people remain in abusive relationships or how to mitigate being the mother of someone who your partner is causing death. Like, let's be a little more mindful about that. But yeah, thank you. I saw someone point out, like, yo, I joined at a really intense time. I'm glad you said that. Someone said thank you for always making sure to add trigger warnings. I try, mostly because it's just like I don't want that experience of me showing up literally to have fun or something, and then it happens to me, by the way. I will like be like, oh, this looks fun, I join in, and it's the most triggering things imaginable, and I'm like, oh cool, I guess that wasn't a big deal. Wow, it's not a good experience. It really isn't. Someone said, I mean, I get it. I was with the POS for 2 years. I think it just takes a while for you to get out of that, unfortunately. I wish there were more resources for people who need help. I agree. And yeah, it's very unfortunate. Someone said I might need to skip this. Yeah, don't worry. I'll give another bigger, more specific trigger warning before we start getting into the details of it. But eek! Someone said, D'Angelo, when can we expect the Love Island video? Oh, yeah. Okay. So for those of you who don't know, which... I mean, I'm sure a lot of you know if you've been watching my streams for a while now. I keep ranting about Love Island at inopportune times, but it's finally over. The evil has been defeated. Love Island USA Season 8 has finally drawn to a close. I mean, there's still going to be a reunion episode in August or something, but I could not care less. And I watched it all, not including After Sun because I don't care. That is literally 35 and a half hours. So yeah. I watched 35 and a half hours of Love Island content, and now my next step is obviously formulating a video about that. So that's going to take a while. I thought it was going to be a simple task where I was just going to be like, oh, this happened and it was kind of crazy, but I found myself having really strong thoughts about Gen Z and men and women and misogyny, incel talking points and scapegoating and just a cop apologia and just a lot of really interesting places that Love Island Season 8 took me to. So what I'm doing now is I have acquired all of the episodes and they're currently in my editing software. I'm going to go cut down the parts of the show I want to talk about, and I'm going to work up some kind of thesis, which I think currently is along the lines of like Love Island USA Season 8 is everything wrong with society. And then I'm just going to talk about how it made me feel. And yeah, I fear it's going to be very, very long, which is why I'm not putting it on this channel. I'm putting it on my main channel. I don't want to get your hopes up, but so I won't give a specific number, but or specific runtime. It's going to be a long video for real. It's wild, dog. It's wild. Sometimes I've been watching Emergency talk about Love Island and it's been crazy. Never been on for reality TV, but I had no idea it was that deep. It's literally that deep. That's the thing. Like, you're right. That's what I didn't realize either. I was just like, who cares, kind of, because it's reality TV. Like, it doesn't matter. You can watch it, not watch it. It's not real, was my sort of stance on it. But having actually watched the entire show and then specifically looked at the way people are reacting to this and talking about the different people on the show, it is real. No, I don't think the things on the show are organic. Yes, it's obviously all manufactured for entertainment value, but the issues of actually like how Gen Z attitudes towards women as influenced by the manosphere, that's a real thing, and it really was reflected on the show over an extended period of time. This issue of double standards and how they apply to people in society is a real thing, and that is reflected very heavily on the show. Also, a lot of stuff in there about racism as well. So like, it is kind of that deep. I just don't want any of you to watch this if you don't want to. If you have 36 hours, you should do it. But if you don't, I hope maybe you can just watch my video and see why I thought it was actually that deep. So yeah, that's essentially where I'm at with Love Island. I'll give you a little preview. I'll give you a little preview of my Love Island video. One of my talking points, it's not a main one, but it's a subsidiary point, is how I just feel like the cop apologia was crazy and not enough people are talking about that. For context, one of the contestants, short-lived, was literally a cop. Like actually a cop. Who they said like proudly, like, yeah, this is Sean. He works as a cop and has since 2020. And I'm like, who the hell joins the police force in 2020 of all times? And you look at spaces in which people are discussing this, and they're like, a lot of people are like, yes, all cops are bad. But then I also see a lot of like, well, all cops are bad with an asterisk. And the asterisk is we find this one person attractive, or, oh, I don't know, I like this person's personality. So, and it's like, y'all do realize it's not a cab asterisk, right? So yeah, like that's one example of things that I would like to point out of that was very jarring for me personally. But that's okay. And I just have a bunch of little things like that. So I'm just going to be complaining, but hopefully in a way that feels like it's a little bit structured and has a point. Or if not, maybe it's just me ranting incoherently. Maybe so. No. Someone said joining year 2020 is a choice for sure. It just wild, dog. Absolutely wild stuff. It really is. Someone said pretty privilege is crazy, but it is though. I also feel like, sorry. No, I'm not sorry. Chat, like, honestly, the only thing that I'm doing besides these videos and my running and a couple other hobbies is working on this video and writing and reading and rewatching. So this has all been really heavy on my mind. But I think one of the best things that Love Island 2026 illustrates is the actual manifestation of red pill and incel attitudes among men who are considered conventionally attractive. That is part of what makes this so fascinating. I don't find anyone on that show attractive personally, but I don't, like, I was never invited to the convention. But listen, like, I think we see a lot of this incel garbage from people who are who don't do well with women, and so we're used to how it manifests in that way. But on Love Island specifically, all the men have a look to them, to the point where literally the women show up and they're just like, oh my gosh, I want him, before even knowing his personality. So you're seeing a version of misogyny that really you can only get away with if you are attractive as a man. And I feel like that one is talked about a little bit less, because every single guy in the show who was being problematic absolutely uses that to their advantage to get away with things that they could not otherwise. So yeah, this like greasy, nasty, icky sort of podcast bro energy does not only manifest amongst people who most people wouldn't even really be paying attention to anyway. Attractiveness is a real thing. It is a factor, and it made the whole journey pretty insidious, I fear. So yeah, that's one of my main points too, of like, wow, what's it like to be a hot incel? What does that look like? And how do we ID that so we can run away forever and leave you in the trash can where you belong? So I'm really excited. I could not be more excited about anything. And I'm sad that it's probably going to take me multiple weeks to finish this. And I'm going to try not to talk about it incessantly until we get there, but I'm doing my best. Reading chat. So I need to watch your new obsession video. You should. I feel like it was pretty good. Messy, but a good topic regardless. Anyways, I want to show you something cool that I did with my ear. I'm still going on my ear stretching journey. It's been really slow, honestly. I could not I can't possibly like explain how incredibly slow this ear stretching process has been. I feel like nothing is happening, but I am happy to report that for the first time the other day when I took this picture, I was able to fit multiple rings, multiple little 18G rings in one ear. And I pulled off what I thought would be a cool idea. Hold on, I'm trying to find the photo. I thought it was kind of creative, kind of neat, kind of something I wish I would see more of. Okay. I thought I put this joint in my OneDrive, but I guess... Oh yeah, I did. Never mind. I found it. Okay, check out my little ring stack that I did the other day. This is like a subtle, or at least this was my attempt at like a subtle... Oh, okay, well, it's gone now, so I hope you saw it while it was there. No, just kidding. What did I even do? Okay, take two. We're so back, chat. This was my attempt at like a subtle little like ace spec pride thing, but like without it being super obvious. I mean, first of all, I would also do it super obvious because I don't care, but like I thought it was cool what I did with like the different metal colors and the way that it looks and stuff. And I low-key feel like more people should try that. I was like, did I come up with a neat idea? I feel like I did. So yeah, my next goal is I want to do a non-binary version, which would need a yellow ring, meaning I would have to stretch my ear hole a little bit more. So we'll get there at some point in the future, and then I'll be able to put a fourth ring there, which I think will just be such a fun look. Someone said, okay, that is cool. Why, thank you. I was like, wow, I had a good idea actually that I've never seen. I mean, I'm sure other people have done this, but yeah, Liddy. But most of this has just been really boring and slow, and that's okay. That's how some things in this life work. It really is. Someone says cute. I felt cute. Why lie? I felt cute as hell when I put in my little 3 rings. I was like, let's go. But yeah, those are 3 18G rings and a 10G hole, which is, it was a nice fit. I didn't feel like anything at all, which is really what most of this should be feeling like. Nothing. Someone said you will be non-binary one day. Well, my ear will be non-binary one day. I got there a long time ago. Oh, we just got to get there. Someone said happy International Non-Binary Day. Is that on God? Because I'm about to act up. Are you being for real right now? Oh, snap. It's my second birthday? I didn't even know I had a second birthday. Okay, let's see. International Non-Binary People's Day, I like that, is observed each year on July 14th and is aimed at raising awareness and organizing around the issues. Okay, yeah, girl, we know. Trust me. Wait, that's so fire. I didn't even know this was a thing. Let's go. I had no clue. Thank you for cluing me in. Well, I was saying all that stuff about non-binary earrings and I didn't even realize it was just in time. Sadly, I've missed this benchmark because I can't fit the yellow ring in my ear, but by the time this rolls around next time, I can probably put 10 in there. So who really knows? So it's a happy non-binary day. Thank you. It's my non-binary birthday, which I'm so excited about. I'm turning even less binary this year, which I couldn't be more pleased. My actual birthday is next month at the very end of the month, the 29th, and I'll be turning 28, so that'll be interesting as well. Someone said that's a short wiki. Bro, low-key, it's funny that this is so short, but also it makes a sort of sense that I can't even explain. Like, of course, this is basically one paragraph. Oh, we got a whole discrimination against non-binary people Wikipedia page. I'm sure that this is not an excruciating read, but yeah, we need to be raising awareness for everybody. So I'll take whatever I can get. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. I really do. Someone said my birthday is this week. I turned 23. Well, as much as I'll try not to be like the 7th person in your life making the joke about nobody likes you when you're 23, I just did, so sorry. My bad. Someone said, haha, Unk, I'm the same age. We're Unk, we're washed, we're chopped, it's over, and that's honestly okay. I've made my peace with it, somewhat. Someone said, you're a Leo? Kind of. I mean, I'm a Leo depending on which way you cut it. If you look at the normally accepted version of it, I'm a Virgo. But there's a different way, I don't remember, of like counting in which I'm a Leo, and I don't know, I relate to Leo, but also Virgo makes sense for me, so I'll take it. I will really take it. Someone said my birthday's low-key at the end of July. Oh, you're coming up too. You can't escape. Someone said 22 sucked. I can't wait for 23. Yeah, I personally remember hating being 22. Low-key. I hated being 21, 22. I don't want to say 23. Because then you're going to be sad. But like, no, you should have a good 23. I did not. And then 24 was kind of okay. 25, I feel like I felt nothing. I don't really remember being 26, even though that was last year. And 27 has actually been nice. So I feel like 28 might be kind of good. But I really don't expect me to have an actual good year until I'm 30. I'm not like, I've let go of that idea of like a fully great year. I'm okay with these very mid years that I've been going back to back to back to back. I think that's just how your 20s work, low key. But you gotta find the peak amongst the mid. You can't just get time mogged by the inexorable passage of year slop. Sometimes you gotta, I don't know what I'm saying, but I hate living. But I'm also so glad I'm here, because I'm just gonna cause so many problems and so much drama. Someone said the later 20s was more fun than my early 20s. Same. As much as I just complained, I would much rather be in my late 20s than in my early 20s, because I did not have a good time at that time. I really didn't. Someone said 30s are cool. Don't give an F. That's what I want. My I do not care era. And for me to actually mean it when I say I don't care. Nowadays, I try not to care, but I still care about everything low-key a little bit. It'll be nice to only care about things that I deem important. Someone said, did I miss the topic? No. In fact, I should have started talking about the topic 2 minutes ago, but then I got distracted because it's International Non-Binary People's Day. Let's go! Which I did not know, but thankfully the chat alerted me. Someone said early 20s felt like teenage years extended. Yeah, basically. That's exactly how I felt. I was like, literally the only thing... I'm pulling up my monitor so we can get started. Literally the only thing that's changed is the number of my age, but my actual maturity level and all that jazz didn't do anything when I turned 20. I was still a child. And like, I feel bad when I say that because it sounds like I'm infantilizing 20-year-olds, but how to explain that in many ways I was literally still a child. I don't know how to say it in a way that doesn't just sound like infantilization, but it's true. Okay, let's see. I also wasn't a child though. I really wasn't. So I guess it's just multiple things being true at once. Like when I look at 20-year-olds, I treat them as adults, but then I also just think like, wow, I remember being that age and I was basically just still a teenager. I don't know. Just like a tall child, as Mitski once said in the song. That's how I felt. It's so stupid. I guess child is not the right word. That's the thing. I think a kid is a kid. But I wish there was some sort of other phrase for what you are when you're like 20. Because it's this very liminal entity in which obviously, yeah, you're your own person, duh, but at the same time it's kind of unfair a lot of the things that are expected of you when you're so very, very, very young. So it's tricky, bro. All right, so I'm pulling up my outline. We're going to talk about Angelina Jolie, Brad Pitt, and all that implies. Automatically I pulled up my first source and I'm locked out of it on this computer, so I will find an archive version of that. Someone said a young entity. That was me. Someone said we call that a young adult. I guess that's exactly what I was, which is an adult, but is also could not be further from the truth. Someone said psychology term is emerging adulthood. I love that term. That's great. If there is a science-esque term for that, and someone knows what I mean, that's fantastic. Emerging adulthood makes sense because I was an adult, but I was also still, well, emerging out of childhood. So it was tricky. Someone said it's a harsh jump that society doesn't help nurture, and then everyone's just arrested development. It is a pretty, like, you get thrown off a cliff type beat when you turn 18, honestly. And it's like, okay, bye, out of the nest. And you're like, wait, you never taught me how to fly. Oh, okay, this is fine, I guess. Or at least that's how I felt. All right. So drink some water and have everyone say hello. With some teeth of life. Everyone say hi. Oh, okay. I'm gonna start recording. 3, 2, 1, go. All right, you guys you're live. It's red. You're on TV, so you may be in the next video. Say hello right now. Brad Pitt, to this day, I messed up in the very beginning. Brad Pitt is one of the most famous people I've ever talked about on this channel. Angelina Jolie as well. And to this day, depending on who you ask, they're either Hollywood's best leading man and like an angelic actress representative of everything good, or an abuser who has gotten away with everything, or the woman who has stolen his entire family. There's a lot of PR nonsense mixed in with a bunch of sexism going on, and I thought today we could take an entire look at Brangelina, what happened with the allegations of abuse, what happened with their 6 children all dropping his last name, and how he is trying to pin this as a sort of intense and intentional alienation campaign where it just kind of seems like 7 people are saying, actually, no, you were just a terrible person. So let's take a look at that. What I find fascinating is not the right word. What I find interesting about all of this is, like, despite being so intensely popular, I feel like Brad Pitt's issues are talked about so little as he just continues to accrue more and more big budget films. But a large part of that is because he uses popular narratives against Angelina Jolie that have really not been working in her favor. But I thought maybe we could take a more fair look at things today, if you're down for that. All right, that's it. That's all we've got. Video over. Stop recording. No, I'm just kidding. So, on the off chance that you don't know who Brad and Angelina are, that is okay. They are both Hollywood actors. And I mean, truly at one point, especially in the 2000s, I would venture to say no one was more famous than them. Their ship name was Brangelina. In fact, that was the first one I ever heard. There's been a lot. You've had your Benefers, your... I can't name any off the top of my head, but you know what I mean. You cannot rule out Brangelina as one of the blueprints for that. Someone said the beanie looks good. You should keep it. Well, I don't wear it all the time because I want people to know that I am bald. I'm proud of my bald head, but sometimes I just be cold because of my bald head as well. So I try to do like 50-50, even though I think I've been wearing it more lately, but I'm probably going to take it off next time. Someone says ship names be crazy. They definitely do. And let's see, pulling this right here. So this next part is where I would give a pretty strong trigger warning for domestic violence, including descriptions of events coming from Angelina's allegations. And yeah, I guess that's what I have. Much of this stems from a widely reported incident that allegedly took place on a plane involving her and involving the couple and their children. So if you're sensitive to that, I would maybe just skip this one for now. Someone said this isn't an anime. Why do they have a ship name? Low key, I feel like anime ship names are actually taken from IRL first, probably. I think before there was ever anyone on the internet ever like concatenated 2 character names, probably Brangelina definitely happened first, I fear. Someone said I thought I knew who Brad Pitt was. It turns out I was thinking of Johnny Depp. Fitting for terrible reasons. Anyways. So, sorry, give me a second, chat. I'm trying to make sure. I'm just reading chat. Someone said, I hate because most of what I've heard of this story, I learned on Facebook. Someone said, do we still got to say alleged when there is an FAA report? No, I'd say alleged out of a bad habit, honestly, but they were on a plane. It's literally, there was an investigation and I believe her. So yeah, I'm not saying this to spark any sort of, cast out or whatever. I think, sorry, give me a second, chat. I'm really trying to think. I'm trying to shift myself into the headspace before I read a lot of this because people, I'm trying to think of how to word this properly. It's pretty terrible stuff. I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm literally uncomfortable, and I just feel like reading aloud on stream allegations of literal child and spousal abuse is just a heavy thing to transition into while maintaining the proper tone. Sorry. I don't know why I'm struggling with this a little bit, but it's not that big of a deal. Anyways, someone said take a breath, take it slowly. Yeah, no, I think it's important that people know what actually happened or what was said to have happened. I'm reading chat. Someone said, I remember seeing it on magazines all over the grocery checkout every day. Oh, do you mean their relationship? And someone said, take your time. Yeah. Someone said alleged. It pisses me off. I get it, but it's so frustrating. I do feel like it minimizes abuse. Yeah, I guess it's it's a tricky scenario because at the end of the day, even if I literally believe that something happened, I do still just tend to think about it in terms of being allegations because I don't know. Sorry. If that was disrespectful, I don't intend for it to be. It's tricky talking about this stuff in the first place anyway, because there's such a fine line, I guess, between, as you say, minimizing things and just trying to make sure that people are actually taking you as a credible source when you are trying to bring attention to things that are important. It's just, yeah, it's a mess, man. But yeah, no, sorry, I gotta drink some water. Now I'm just in my head a little bit. Someone said must be so tiring to say allegedly all the time. Well, I'm not a victim here because I'm literally just talking about it, but it's more so when I don't approach it this way, I feel like people tend to write me off and be like, oh, you're biased and this, that, the other. And then you're not even listening to what I'm trying to say anyway, but it's just stupid. It's really stupid. Reading chat. Sometimes I've never heard of this sticky from Flamingos. Okay, yeah, anyway, sorry. That's a lull in the vibe, but me sometimes I ain't coming at you for saying allegations. I don't feel that you are. I don't think anyone's attacking me right now. I just think it would be nicer, honestly, if we just lived in a world where none of these things ever happened. That's how I feel. That's how I feel all of the time. Instead of and I'm so sorry that I promise I'm not crashing out. I'm thinking aloud because I've been thinking about this a lot, obviously. But instead of us all having to collectively figure out the correct way or the most maximal way of talking about and bringing awareness to and being respectful of these scenarios, it would actually just be much better if no one was a domestic abuser in the first place. That's what would be great. Everything after that is literally just why does it then become the responsibility of the world to hold so much space for navigating these things properly when really the people doing it should never have been doing it? Is kind of how I feel. And I've been feeling that a lot lately with like everything of like, it is just crazy how careful it feels as though we all have to be. Meanwhile, other people go through this life literally like beating people and getting away with it. It's just killing people and getting away with it. I don't, it's okay though. Like it's alright. It is literally alright. And someone says valid to crash out over. It would be, but I'm definitely keeping it maintained. Let's just go into it. So around 2016 is when the plane incident took place. And since then, FBI documents have been revealed showing that Brad Pitt choked and hit his children, says Angelina Jolie in a court filing. So it says the allegations of abuse first became public shortly after the flight. That would be back in 2016. But reports were initially vague and the details were kept sealed in the divorce documents and investigations by the FBI, by the LA County Department of Children and Family Services, both of which found that no action against Pitt was necessary. It says Pitt got 50-50 custody of the children after a closed-door trial, but an appeals court subsequently disqualified the judge for not providing possible conflicts of interest, nullifying that decision. More details of the allegation were revealed in 2022 when a Jolie lawsuit against the FBI over a Freedom of Information Act request was made public. And so this is a part where I'm just going to describe what was being said. This is per Jolie. Pitt's aggressive behavior started before the family got to the airport, with Pitt having a confrontation with one of the children. Basically, throughout this entire thing, it says he was coming at her over literally everything to the point where the kids... Sorry, I'm summarizing because I can't do this. To the point where the kids were pointing out, like, you're being a prick. And then he started attacking them. She tried to hold him back. This resulted in her getting pushed, her getting taken to the bathroom where he proceeded to fight her. He said that he was choking and hitting his underage children as well. And immediately after this, Angelina Jolie filed for a divorce. So yeah, I don't think we need to go back to any of that after. I think I might have told that in a choppy way, but I think that's good enough for this discussion. Also, we're 100% not going to look at these photos because it's not necessary, but there's even photos of Angelina Jolie's alleged bruises from Brad Pitt during horrid flight revealed, says page 6. And yeah, there are photos of her bruised up. And despite this, people do the same thing that they always do online, where even if you look on even if you look in the comment section of an article that is literally like, here are photos of Angelina Jolie's bruises that she says came from Brad Pitt, you got people saying nothing because I got blocked by an angry full page pop-up that's saying I need to turn off my ad blocker, but that's not happening. Angelina has issues. The pictures of the so-called bruises and where they are, I'm not buying it. I think she's doing whatever she can to hurt him because he didn't stay with her. There's no reason why they shouldn't have joint custody, but she's a greedy one. He remains relevant, whereas she isn't. It's sad that she continues to fight him when he just wants to move on with his life. This is literally like top comments. So earlier, before I started recording, I had mentioned Angelina Jolie not being liked universally, and someone was like, people hate her. It depends on where you go. It's very easy to fall into pockets of the internet in which people are speaking about her this way, saying she's always been crazy, saying this is all just like a coordinated hate campaign against poor Brad Pitt, and I hate it. Someone said it's giving Depp versus Heard. Well, it's not dissimilar, and it's very much an intentional thing where... Anyways, I want to show this too. It's also worth noting, and the last thing I'll say about the abuse is Angelina Jolie has said that is not the only incident. Jolie's lawyer alleges Brad Pitt's history of physical abuse of Jolie started well before their 2016 plane altercation. And from that, you also see a bunch of people saying things like, oh, well, then why did she marry him, etc. I don't have time to hash out these tired victim blaming narratives. You get the point. That's what she said happened. And there was literally an investigation during which she produced photos of her being bruised, and yet people are still reacting this way. Pulling this right here. Someone in frustration collected like actual real unironic comments about this. For all the women out there, when a man says no or doesn't agree with you or calls you out for lying, it's not abuse. I don't believe a word she says. That's the way divorce is for women now. Don't get what you want, claim abuse. Jolie gives off Amber Heard vibes. That is actually just crazy for so many reasons. Like how clearly these people are missing the point. Something isn't right about that they're woman. False accusations are now the rule and not the exception from American women. The old abuse okay, we really don't need to read all of these. And it's playing into this same like horrific narrative that I'm actually really, really tired of seeing, which is like some men's belief that every woman is secretly waiting to ruin your life with some sort of allegation. That isn't reality. That is an incel talking point. That's red pill misogynist apologia that people really need to stop spreading online. That's not how the real world actually works. But sadly, yes, in some places, Angelina Jolie absolutely is being used as the latest example of that allegedly happening. Someone said, again, Pitt used the same PR firm as Depp, hence the similarities in the narrative. And yeah, that is true too, by the way. It's Depp, Baldoni, and Pitt. All of these people are using the same PR firm. So if this actually sounds wildly familiar to you and you're like, why have I heard all this before? It's the exact same playbook that's being used in so many places on the internet, taking these deep-rooted misogynist ideas and trying to use them to get everybody on the man's side. Someone said it's basically the 21st century version of She's a Witch. Yeah, no, I hate this allegation stuff. I'm taking a break for a second and talking about this. So I'm not bringing this up to be funny, but just as part of the research I'm doing for my bigger video about You Know What Island. Oh, I shouldn't say You Know What Island because that sounds really dark. I mean Love Island, not the other horrible island that has been recently in our pop culture collective consciousness. I've actually unfortunately been doing research into like the absolute state of men and women. Okay, we're digressing now, but work with me. I'm going to tell you about my frustration. Have you heard the phrase gender war? I really hate that phrase so much, actually. But yeah, you could literally just Google like gender war, go to news or whatever. Is there really a gender war? Oh, Love Island came up. Bro, I literally did not even search Love Island and it came up under gender war. This week's gender war moment. Americans are divided on culture war issues. Gender war is over. Okay, whatever. I would never use that term, obviously, but like I've still been looking into what people consider to be a gender war, and I've really been trying to get into the headspace of some of the attitudes that I was seeing on the show, because again, it's red pill stuff. And what people would basically say is like, you had a bunch of women, someone said, don't use Google, please. I don't think I can commit to that. Hold on, I'm gonna come back to the don't use Google in a second. You had a bunch of dudes saying this angry, nonsensical things, and you had a bunch of women saying, well, have you tried to actually just talk to real life women? Like, talk to a real woman in real life, and then you will understand that they're not all the same person, and that your like red pill fantasy of a woman's not rooted in reality. And then the dudes will literally, unironically, without fail, be in the comments like, oh yeah, well, what's the point of talking to real life women when they're just going to accuse you of assault essentially for talking to them? And I'm like, that doesn't happen. I brought this up because it's the same thing that people were saying Angelina did here, of just like accusing of assault for no reason. Yeah, absolutely, people can make false accusations for sure, but it's irrelevant in this context, and I'm just so tired of the way that people use these things, and people don't take these allegations seriously when they are made anyway. But yeah, people really piss me off, honestly. They really, really do. We don't live in Reddit world, you know what I mean, or like NBA Twitter world, where this is actually how women work. In fact, I have another opinion on this that I'm going to talk about in a second, but first I want to address the Google thing. Maybe we're on youtube.com. I cannot extricate myself from Google's ecosystem at this point. If it had not been for Google specifically, I would not have made a single red cent in the past 7 years. And as much as I very much would like to boycott Google, I'm not going to do that, and I'm not even going to attempt to do that because that would involve a level of cognitive dissonance I'm simply unwilling to engage in. It's gonna be me on youtube.com using google.com with my I'm sorry. Listen, it's me. Literally, I will call out every single big tech company, including Google, for their nasty, cringe AI, making Google search absolute worse. And I really should have put the little minus AI tag because I don't want these AI overviews. But yeah, I don't use these AI overviews. I don't use these features, and I'm not proud that I'm in Google's ecosystem, but I am. That's all I have to say. I know that there's other... I know that there are other search engines, obviously, and I do not have to capitulate. And capitulation's not cute, but I find Google to be easier to use, so it is what it is. Someone said Google Gemini is now at the top right of my Chrome. Yeah, but I still don't think you're wrong for like not wanting to see it. It's just that's a little tricky in the specific scenario. Okay, I literally promise you we are going to get back to the Brad Pitt / Angelina Jolie thing in a second. But I have one last thing that I want to bring up with regards to this quote unquote gender war, red pill, incel version of reality. One thing that I get really tired of seeing, and I've seen a lot because attractiveness, being conventionally attractive is such a big part of the research I've been doing for this Love Island thing. I keep seeing men saying women's standards for men are too high. This is the conversation always goes the same way. What's the point of even trying to online date when women's standards at this point are literally like insurmountable for your average guy and would basically rule out like 95% of men? And then you have women coming in, and by the way, I'm doing a lot of generalization here, but there's no other way to talk about this. You have women coming in and they're like, well, that's actually crazy because the bar is in hell, is what a lot of women are saying. They're like, what do you mean our standards are high? We just want somebody who sees women as people, which you will see, which is obviously true, and you will see repeated again and again across the entire internet, all platforms. Someone said the bare minimum. Literally, the bare minimum is like the standard is, can you, like, I don't know, wash your behind and don't act like one? And then what you see all these dudes chime in on, they'll be like, no, here's the thing. Women say that the bar is low and that all they're asking is that you be a decent individual, but they're only selecting decent individuals out of people who meet a bunch of other secret criteria first. These men actually genuinely think that all women are ruling out any guy who is not, and I'm being so for real right now, 6 feet tall, making 6 figures a year, and has a 6-pack. I unironically keep running into this wall when I'm trying to read up on these things of men just saying over and over and over, what's the point? We shouldn't even be nice to women. Women aren't nice to us. They're the real shallow ones. They don't date men unless they're like over 6 feet tall, make over six figures a year, and have a six pack. And I'm just like, someone said the 666. Yeah. They bring up the 666 thing all the time. And I'm like, what? So that's the argument that people use when women say like actually the standard is the bare minimum and the bar is in hell. They're like, nah, because none of you have ever dated anyone that's doesn't fit these unreachable criteria. And I'm just kind of like, you guys have to get off of the internet. Specifically these men. You guys have to get off of the internet. You guys need to stop using online dating platforms. Stop reading summaries of women as given to you by men. Stop watching those stupid videos where they go around and interview girls on the college campus, half of which are faked videos, by the way. Stop consuming these things that what's the word I'm looking for? Reinforce your worldview. None of this is true. None of this is real. Someone said, it's like, do you have eyes? Just look at most married guys. They aren't all 10s, but they literally got married. Please go outside. I genuinely don't believe these people go outside. I'm being serious. I don't believe these people go to the mall. I don't think they have ever set foot in like you must not go to concerts. You must have never been to a party. You must not have ever been to the grocery store. This is insane to me. And the part that ultimately makes less than no sense to me is like, okay, let's say it was actually true. Let's say it was true, by the way. And women really were just incapable of dating 95% of men. Then 95% of women would be single as well. Like, duh. I feel like no one's acknowledging the elephant in the room. If the standards are literally that inescapable, there's not like it doesn't make any sense. It literally makes less than no sense. If that was actually true, no woman would ever really be able to find this perfect billionaire like romance novel love interest that she's looking for. There's not very many of those guys anyway, so women would also just be totally out of luck. But yeah, this is absolutely dumb as hell. Someone said I can confirm that my husband only fits like one of those criteria and didn't have that when we married. Literally. Someone said I'm a fat, broke, average looking guy with an amazing girlfriend. Like, come on. Most human beings look average. That's why it's called the average. That's not even mean to say. The vast majority of men and women are average looking. That's where the average comes from. And many of these people are in really long lasting and committed relationships with each other. So yeah, I keep getting whiplash. Like, it's almost like I'm diving into lava, just trying to find some of these talking points to bring up in my video. And every time I come back up for air, I'm just like, oh, the real world, it's fantastic. Yay. Oh my God. It's great. Reading this. Someone said, why follow the 666 rule when you can follow the 777 rule? 7 human souls, 7 chaos emeralds, 7 deadly sins. Let's go. And then there's also just like a bunch of little silly, stupid nitpicks with that as well, because it's just like everyone has physical standards. And everyone does, obviously. You may not act on them, or yours may be pretty lax or whatever, but like I feel like seeing that as some sort of negative is stupid for so many reasons. Anyways, I am sorry for ranting about this gender war, which is not a thing, nonsense. I'm gonna move on. My head has been here so much lately. But yeah, y'all be saying gender war, but it's literally just a war against women, which is not the same thing. I feel the same way when people talk about race war type stuff. And I'm like, wait, you mean the war against black people? Or actually many people of various races, but I can only speak to my experience. Like, Or I don't think the phrase war really encapsulates what's actually happening here, because this is pretty one-sided. It's a mess. Anyways, moving on from this. Literally moving on from this. So I am going to close all of these weirdo comments. I kind of think you see the points. And it's not like I'm really just going to the worst of the worst places. This is all over the place when people talk about Angelina Jolie. And it's because these talking points, sadly, they're just everywhere right now. They're literally everywhere. Yes, you can find a lot of decent people who don't subscribe to this, but wow, has it really breached containment? What I kind of wanted to talk about is, instead of a bunch of people who were literally not in that relationship or on that plane or whatever suddenly becoming experts about how she must be lying, I feel like why not just take a look at the other people who were actually there? We already know what Angelina has said. Obviously, Brad's denying this, but all of Brad Pitt's children have distanced themselves from him, some in very loud ways, some in very subtle ways. And when I say all, I do mean you could do this in the order. Take a look at Vivian, for example. Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt's daughter, Vivian, 15, listed as Vivian Jolie in The Outsiders playbill. That was in 2024, in which she decided to drop Pitt from her name. Shiloh. Daughter Shiloh dropped his last name. Brad Pitt, aware and upset, says source. He loves his children. This is where you're starting to get some of this really... I'm trying not to editorialize too much. This is where you're starting to get some of Brad's worldview on how he's seeing all of this. So this was in 2024 as well, when Shiloh made this choice. He's aware that Shiloh dropped his last name. He's never felt more joy than when she was born. He always wanted a daughter, says the source. The reminders that he's lost his children is, of course, not easy for Brad. He loves his children and misses them. It's very sad. Which, by the way, garbage parents be doing this all the time. Is Brad Pitt a garbage parent? That's for his kids to decide. But this is literally so common when children will start standing up for themselves in any meaningful way. Do a countdown timer until... Sorry, I'm like dying trying to say this. Do a countdown timer until the parents start talking about like, oh my gosh, I'm just so sad that my child is doing this. I love them so much. I want you to know that I'm always here for you. And it's so... They really be running out of options, and they all just start going off of the same playbook whenever this happens. Someone said, what happened on the plane? Oh, I talked about that a while ago. Maybe you could go back, but I'm not going to go back there because it was pretty dark, but basically abuse. Someone says tiny violin music plays. Yeah, no, I definitely think you should respect the kid's decision here. But anyways, that was Vivian. That was Shiloh. Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt's son, Knox, drops dad's last name from diploma weeks ahead of 18th birthday. Like, I feel as though this should probably tell you something. Another one of Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt's kids is legally dropping Pitt from their name. But yes, again, instead of this meaning anything, Brad Pitt is maintaining actually that this is Angelina Jolie's fault. And she's the one who has been, I don't know, misleading them, lying to them. Alienation, I think, is the word he's using, which, by the way, parental alienation is a thing. But again, I just feel like this is kind of an interesting time to pull that one out. Someone said this stuff should be saying something. Pax Jolie, another one. This actually went viral several years ago when Pax was just a teenager, but he shared this actual post online. Happy Father's Day to this world-class a-hole. You time and time again prove yourself to be a terrible and despicable person. You have no consideration or empathy towards your 4 youngest children who tremble in fear when in your presence. You will never understand the damage you've done to my family because you're incapable of doing so. You've made the lives of those closest to you you made the lives of those closest to me a constant hell. You may tell yourself in the world whatever you want, but the truth will come to light someday. So happy Father's Day, you effing awful human being. This resurfaced a couple years ago. It makes the rounds every now and then, but it has never actually been responded to by either party. I don't think it was supposed to be public, but again, if you just want to act like all of this is somehow Angelina Jolie's influence, that's fine. But at this point in time, all of their children are now legally adults and have made this decision. And most recently, this was actually literally yesterday, Brad Pitt's kids, Zahara and Maddox, take out newspaper ads to officially drop Pitt from last name. So, yeah, let's see, it's summed up right here. Except all the Jolie Pitt kids are now adults and all of them have dropped the Pitt. The official end of Brangelina, says El País. But yeah, I guess, hey, I wasn't on that plane. You know what I mean? Obviously, none of us were. I just feel like it's actually bonkers to ignore the actions or statements of literally 7 people, all who seem to be corroborating the same thing in defense of Brad Pitt just because ... Why? He's a man. He's conventionally attractive in a Hollywood way. He's white. We could literally go on and on about why people are reality bending over backwards to try to justify all of this. Someone said, "Wow, it's the consequences." Yeah, the literal consequences of your actions. Another quote unquote source telling the Daily Mail, a source close to Pitt, saying there's been a campaign of alienation by Angelina which has been successful. The antagonism is huge. He has been alienated from the kids completely and it's devastating to him. So I just think you should know all of those things. Do I have to say allegedly when these things happen? Obviously, but at the same time, I completely believe Angelina Jolie. I completely believe what Pax said, and I wouldn't imagine that all 6 of your kids would want to drop your name for no reason. So this is just ridiculous. And these are the things that people are ignoring to turn around and say, "Oh, I bet she's just making things up because she's mad that he left her." She literally left him. What is really, really just baffling to me is, well, no, it's not baffling. It makes perfect sense, but I'm also still baffled. While Pitt's career flourishes, there are actually people within the industry who believe his version of events and also see Angelina as this terrible person. No one will ever come out and say it, right? But right here, a prominent Hollywood film producer who did not want his name used, speaking to The Post, said the jury is still out on Jolie's popularity in the industry because of the divorce. She's not without talent, but she's a... Oh, not this again. Okay, hold on, chat. Oh, man. They keep logging me out. I don't want to be logged out. I'm trying to read. Okay, hold on. I think I'm gonna fix it. Oh, I lost my place. I lost my place. Sorry, give me a second. All right, we're back. She's not without talent, says random producer, but she's a little crazy. It's horrible what she did to Brad Pitt, accusing him of beating the kids. Yeah, they respect her, but she's a nut. Literally, you cannot have a conversation about this without running into the Angelina Jolie is crazy narrative. And we can look in a second about where this is stemming from, but I just find it to be pretty appalling. Obviously, the same thing is going on in the comment section. We know she's talented because she won an Oscar, but that's not enough. You as a person should be credible to the public. You have to have values, and that's the problem with Jolie, the lack of values in her actions. After years of trying to beat the man down for so many years about the children. Okay, we get the point. Same story, different day. Someone said the kids back her up, though. They literally do. They absolutely do. So yeah, 7 people all saying the same thing versus 1 man who would be believed. Sadly, we have our answer. So, looking at what Angelina Jolie, or some of the things that people talk about with her, pulling this right here. I think the thing about Jolie that makes this so frustrating is she is literally not a perfect person, but people are using that as a reason to dismiss everything. That's what's frustrating about this. This was very much before my time. Even though I was here, I wasn't really following pop culture like that. But here you have Paris and Nikki Hilton wearing Team Jolie / Team Aniston shirts, referencing the fact that when Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt got together, he was actually still in a relationship with Jennifer Aniston. As you can imagine, there are always going to be those people who are like, oh, homewrecker, this is entirely the woman's fault. But yeah, obviously she would be dead wrong for that. And also that would have literally no bearing on whether or not we should be treating her as some sort of crazy liar all these years down the road. Someone said there are no perfect victims. Yeah, it's better that we acknowledge people are just people. They're capable of doing anything good, bad, or otherwise, and that shouldn't be a reason to essentially dehumanize them when the time comes to speak up. It also doesn't mean you should be ignoring bad things that people do or not calling them out, but I never see why those things have to be as contradictory as society seems to think that they are. Someone said, I remember all of this as it was happening. Yeah, if you were there, I'm sure you know a lot more about the Team Aniston versus Team Jolie thing than I did. Also, like, pulling this right now, she, in the early 2000s, Angelina Jolie was just wild as hell, bro. Billy Bob Thornton explains famous blood vial necklaces with Angelina Jolie. That was one of the greatest times of my life. People are constantly bringing up like, oh, this is the woman who walked around with a vial of her boyfriend's blood. And yeah, she really did do that. A lot of talk about things like that, but I just feel like we could certainly dive into some sort of re-examination of Jolie in the 2000s and how interesting that was, or we could just acknowledge that that's completely irrelevant to this and doesn't matter, because I feel like that makes a little bit more sense to do here. Someone said that's metal AF. That's very metal, honestly. I don't hate the blood vials, but I mean, you can see from my aesthetic, I'm kind of warped when it comes to these things anyway. I think it's sweet. But yeah, no, like, no, she's not a perfect person. Hell no. I don't even think she is. And I don't think she should have to be. That's just not fair. That's not possible for anybody to achieve, I guess. Someone said they focus on the weird and bad, but she also did so much good. I kind of feel the same way too. Like, I don't know, dog. There's a lot of talk about celebrities and their philanthropic efforts being like PR or whatever. But can I just say, high key, Angelina Jolie has literally stood on business for like more than 20 years when it comes to her humanitarian efforts. Like, actually, trying to pull this right here. She, despite her like massive fame, is way more outspoken about issues in the world than almost any other celebrity. Not just outspoken though, she's not just speaking, she's literally doing. This is this year. Angelina Jolie visits Rafah crossing as Gaza aid groups face Israeli suspension. Yes, literally as people who were just trying to bring humanitarian aid were being blocked. Angelina Jolie showed up and actually gave her first person experience of what was happening. I spoke to humanitarian agencies who are working hard to do their best to overcome the restrictions and challenges of delivering necessary aid into Gaza. I walked through a large warehouse that was full of items that were denied entry, most of them medical, Jolie said in the statement. Pulling this right here. And you could say what you will about PR or whatever, but quite literally, since she became UN Goodwill Envoy in 2001, she does seem to at least care about some of these things quite a bit. I just think keeping up a facade for 25 years, I don't really think that's how this works. Maybe we could just believe that she is also capable of using her platform for good and does so very frequently. Someone says she's been out there. She literally has. The actress just returned from Pakistan, where she visited several camps for refugees, literally back in the 2000s. So yeah, no, I feel like trying to reduce her to one singular entity to fit your narrative, that makes it easier to downplay her and 6 other adults, either allegations or seeming confirmation of abuse, is just kind of goofy. Someone said there's nothing PR about supporting Gaza. The media machine will find a way to destroy you for it. Yeah, I also feel like at this point, it's negative PR to speak up for what's right. We see that happen time and time again. You speak up for what's right and you lose your job, or you get labeled things that you're not, or you lose opportunities, or you get blacklisted, or they try to treat you like Miss Rachel or Melissa Barrera or all of the Rachel Zegler, all these other people. Like, I just... Y'all gotta miss me with some of this, for real. Reading chat. Here, again, like, I'm not super following her, anything like that, but I will tell you one thing that I actually do remember from when I was a kid that Angelina Jolie did, that I was like, wow, that's kind of interesting, because I was like a 14-year-old idiot who didn't know anything about anything. Does anybody remember Angelina Jolie going public about her double mastectomy? My Medical Choice 2013. This was actually like a huge deal at the time. She very deliberately drew a lot of attention to the fact that she was found to be high risk for breast cancer, unfortunately, which took away her mother, family members that ran in her family very seriously. And she just wanted people to know that she went through this preventative procedure. And actually after that, someone said men hated this. I'm not surprised. I'm literally not surprised. People actually kind of refer to it as the Angelina effect. More than doubled breast cancer tests in the UK. That's kind of a huge deal. I remember I was just a boy. I was a teenage boy, but I also remember feeling like it was destigmatized for me as well. I was like, wow, I didn't know that could happen to someone like Angelina Jolie. And obviously that's a much bigger deal if you are at higher risk for these things. So again, I'm not actually doing the opposite, where I'm trying to bring up positive things that she's done to say, yeah, this is why you should believe her. It's more so, we cannot box people into just being one thing. And frankly, if I'm just going off of what I've seen during my lifetime, like my actual public consciousness, there's nothing to hate her for, chat. It's overblown. It's people holding on to things that literally happened 20 years ago. That's how I feel about that, personally. And also, like, you don't want to play this game with Brad Pitt. You don't want to go back over the past 20 odd years and start looking at, oh, well, what has he been up to? Because dating teenagers, I guess, we can start with. Actually, this was a while ago. When Brad Pitt was 27, he dated 17-year-old Juliette Lewis. He said their relationship was the greatest. I guess what I'm getting at here is, even if, I don't know, you just still not ready to budge on the not ready to budge on the plane incident, there are actually so many reasons to not rock with Brad Pitt. You could literally just pick one. Him dating 17-year-old Juliette Lewis when he was 27, that was just It was a proclivity. That wasn't an isolated incident. He dated 17-year-old Christina Applegate when he was 26. Somebody saying right here, don't forget, he also dated 15-year-old Shalane McCall when he was 24. This dude is just nasty on so many levels. There is literally like so little there outside of the way that this person looks. If you actually are going off of his actions, it's rancid vibes. It's not vibes, it's actual things that he's done. Also, I don't feel like enough people talk about this at all, but the Brad Pitt Hurricane Katrina lawsuit situation is actually genuinely appalling. This is from 2023. $20 million payout falls through in suit over Brad Pitt post Katrina homes. So here he is in 2007. I'll give you a recap. Excuse me. But basically, a horrific hurricane ravaged Louisiana. Actually, like half of my family is from Louisiana, and sadly that affected them. They absolutely lost their homes, and Katrina was just so, I can't describe how destructive this was for so many people. So you can imagine every bit of aid was a good thing. And in 2007, when Brad Pitt is very much, talk about PR, very much using his Make It Right Foundation to build homes for people, and that way they were not, you know, without somewhere to live. What happened was these homes were not built properly. They weren't actually like constructed in a way to last in Louisiana's climate. And so what happened was people wound up like literally still financially destitute because they couldn't afford to live in this home. They literally were taking out their life savings and mortgages to try to get into these places that are falling apart. Thus the class action suit against Pitt's foundation. What I feel like is so wrong here is like, sorry, I just started thinking about Hurricane Katrina. That was really, really, really interesting. What a time, man. What an actual time. But anyways, his foundation gets sued and it called for a $20 million payout, but now everybody's like, oh, actually, we can't pay this out. So sorry, we know it was court ordered, but this is falling through. Therefore, the lawsuit is going back to continuing. And it's like, he could quite literally single-handedly fix this. I don't think Brad Pitt is like a billionaire or anything like that, but looking at the amount of money that's being asked for, I just feel like this is so ridiculous for him to even allow this to be happening in the background. But now you're starting to see low-key. Someone said the USA failed Louisiana so bad. Oh, they really did. Now you're kind of starting to see like the extent of Pitt's PR machine. Did you know about this? I don't feel like most people did. I certainly didn't until recently. Like, anything bad that this man does or has been connected to is swept against the rug to the point where wherever it comes up, people are like, oh, whoa, what? Meanwhile, everything bad that Angelina Jolie has ever done has followed her around for the past 20 years. And I fear it's a double standard. That's just how I feel. But anyways, I guess if I had to kind of wrap this a little bit, looking at where someone said most celebrities are evil until proven otherwise, that's a decent place to start. I feel. Someone said, I love how people still to this day hate George Bush. Me too, and they should. There's never enough George Bush hate, truly. If I could wrap this up somewhere, I would like to say you can just take a look at where people are or where it's left the two parts of the former Brangelina couple. Brad Pitt is obviously thriving and is literally just seen as a baby to all of his friends, chumming it up with so many people in the industry, making millions and millions. I think F1 literally did 600 million at the box office, which I'm like, yeah, that's great. But oh, why does it have to be a Brad Pitt number? But pulling this right here. In a much quieter way, I do feel like Angelina Jolie is also doing pretty well. I don't want to leave you on like purely depressing vibes. 2026, Angelina Jolie on her kids, encouraging her to, quote, get out and do things. My fighting spirit is finally back, she says. I lost it for a bit. I got kind of taken down a little bit, and it's coming back in large part thanks to my children who are now older and encouraging it. She further explains, my kids are almost all 18. They're all 18 now, and they want to see me traveling the world. They want me to get out and do things. They know me more than anybody, and they still like me, which says a lot. I want to talk about that statement in a second. I think they're very encouraging of me getting back to aspects of myself that maybe I hadn't felt as free to do. And I feel like that's just kind of amazing. But like, that is literally such a masterclass statement right there. My kids still like me. Don't know about you guys. I just feel like that literally says everything you need to know. But yeah, I hate the rehabilitation of Brad Pitt because it relies on so much cognitive dissonance and purposely ignoring reality and distorting it to fit what I consider to be an obviously misogynist worldview. That's all I've really got. That's actually all I've really got. Does anybody have anything that they want me to add, or like maybe I missed, or to expand upon? But I just woke up today, and I was like, fine, we're gonna do it. Because I've been sitting on this video. I think the first time I saw one of Pitt's children drop that last name, I was like, I was like, okay, well, let's just talk about this. But then I waited, and then it happened again, and then it happened again. And I was like, at this point, he literally doesn't have anybody left to corroborate his story. There's no one there. There's literally no one. Someone said we're not giving Apple enough flack for the F1 movie. I agree, honestly. I really do. Someone said, please expand on the rumor that Brad Pitt smells bad. Can't speak to that. I've certainly never been in a position to even be close to anyone that famous. Someone said, thanks, I hated this. You did great as always. Of course, I'm just sad for her and those kids. I'm sad for them and what they experienced, but it's also quite powerful to just be able to distance themselves. So I'm glad that they've been able to at least have the freedom to do that. What's really like sorry and just unfortunate is sometimes you will see the same scenario play back and nobody even gets out. I just think I literally just tried to end it on a lighter note, but like I don't want to be depressing, but like I literally see dynamics like this in real life where basically seemingly one person is like destroying a family, but then they just all stay together, and it's not those people's fault for staying, but it just really hurts to see. But yeah, I think if there was a version of a happy ending, it's you being completely estranged from all of that harm and figuring out who you are as your own person with your own name. Someone said, am I a safe space to say I enjoy Formula One, the sport, but that movie is a crime? That's an acceptable opinion. I'll allow it. I really will. Reading chat. Someone say, if y'all want to really feel a certain way about Brad, watch the Jamaican accent scene and meet Joe Black. Good lord. Okay, see, now I feel like we're really getting in the weeds for real. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and record an outro. Don't leave though, because we're not ending the stream just yet. But say like wave goodbye, because we're gonna record an outro. Oh, my phone went off. I forgot to turn it down. Let me turn my ringer off so I can stop being rude. Okay. Drink some water. Everybody say goodbye. I see someone mentioned a good question. I'll get to it after I record the outro. Anyway, that's about all I have to say about Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. I've been trying never to think about that again, and hopefully you never have to either. But yeah, I recorded this video live right here on YouTube, where I stream quite frequently Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 12 p.m. Eastern time. Unless I don't, in which case I'm probably just, I don't know, sleeping. But yeah, hopefully I see you in the next stream or the next video. And if not, that doesn't matter at all. Okay, bye. Excuse me. Okay, we're good. I've stopped recording. It's just you and me and all these other people watching. I've been drinking so much water, bro. Somebody in chat said something along the lines of, did you talk about all of the random love that Brad Pitt gets at award shows and stuff like that? Dog. No, I'm telling you this. I'm just saying it aloud. It's literally so many beloved people are actually abusers. Like, people who are considered to be like pop culture icons are either whether it's allegations or things that have been confirmed. I think my biggest example of that I will quite literally never get over is Mike Tyson, who has settled into this sort of like unk role, which is actually crazy how people glaze Mike Tyson to this day when he is objectively a rapist. Like, I'm not saying that because it's shocking or I'm trying to be anything. This is true. This is a thing that he did. And I just genuinely don't understand. Well, I do understand because that's the way of the world. But yeah, no matter what, dare I say, a man does, society is going to essentially glaze him for no reason. It's just kind of ridiculous. Someone said unk, more like grandpop we all ignore. Yeah, Mike Tyson is best left ignored for sure, but he's probably the more extreme example of that. Obviously, yes, people do the same thing on a less extreme level with Brad Pitt. I don't want to sit here and just start naming a bunch of people because Michael Jackson, obviously, so many people, man. Someone said I always try to be nuanced when talking about men, but it's so hard. I mean, brother, sometimes you just got to say how you feel and then sort it out after. Honestly, I've learned that. In all my years doing commentary and trying to be nuanced, I realize sometimes it doesn't even serve me to be nuanced all the time. And sometimes I just got to say what it sounds like, and then I can go back and clarify and be like, okay, obviously there could be these other things, but nah, I just don't feel like you owe anyone nuance beyond a certain point. I'm being so for real right now. I don't know. It's tricky because nuance is very important to me, and I try to be a nuanced individual when talking about things. I consider that to be pretty much the reason to watch me, is because I'm gonna try to consider things from multiple angles, but simultaneously, the older I get and the more time passes, the more I'm like, I don't have to be nuanced. I frankly could have literally just made a video where I'm just like, Brad Pitt is obviously an abuser, and yes, everything he did on the plane is exactly what it said, per Angelina's reports about this. Otherwise, why would all of her children be backing it up? And why would her son have said pretty much the same thing, that her children are in fear of him? And why was there photo evidence? Yes, obviously he did. Like, maybe someday I'm going to be more bold and less level-headed about things. But I don't know. It's just really tricky because I don't want to put people off. I don't want people to click into my video and just be like, oh my gosh, this person's so angry. Oh, this is biased. No, sometimes I'm angry and I'm still right. I'm literally still right. I also saw somebody mention Ronaldo. Didn't he do the same thing? I really, like, I don't want to, I obviously gotta be careful with this because I don't want to say It's if it's not true, personal life, health, legal issues, find. Oh no, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no. In 2017, it was reported that he was being investigated for a rape incident in 2009, which everybody just ignores as they continue to glaze him. And he paid someone $375,000 to settle an NDA, but then denied all the accusations and saying it's an intentional defamation campaign. It's always the same story, right? With parts altered or fabricated, etc. And then he ultimately wound up not being charged, I guess, but not because he didn't do it, just because nothing could be proven. Yeah, no, dude, someone said Kobe too. No, that's also true. It is also true. Kobe has the same thing on his Wikipedia page as well. It's just ridiculous. It's really, really ridiculous. And it's worse in some spheres than others, but like, man, it's really bad in sports. Okay? It is really, really, really bad in the world of sports. I believe it's bad everywhere. I believe the music industry does a horrible job of holding people. It doesn't, obviously. The entertainment industry in any way, shape, or form. Hollywood is obviously known for protecting its abusers, etc. I hate to say it, but YouTube, horrible place for people getting away with things like this and it being covered up. But something about the world of sports is literally so incredibly frustrating, seeing the kinds of things that people get away with. It is just wild. Sometimes a lot of athletes will just get covered for, or like made excuses for, or they'll get away with things that no one should be able to get away with. It's all bad no matter where it's happening. I just can't help but think about how prevalent it is in some places. Someone said McGregor, Conor McGregor, Kobe Bryant, Ronaldo, Mike Tyson. Literally, you could just sit here all day and do this. Do y'all remember? I mentioned this in one of my, or this was several years ago. Several years ago. During the Olympics. So no, not that long ago. It was 2024. It just feels like a lifetime ago. I literally hate saying this out loud because it just sounds crazy. But they literally had that pedophile rapist dude at the Olympics. Do you remember that? That actually genuinely did happen. That's not something people are making up. That's not an allegation either. That's not even something that was unconfirmed. Is a Steven Van de Velde dude who was convicted of child rape in 2016 because of when he was 19, and a 12-year-old girl who he literally traveled to Britain to meet her, gave her alcohol. We don't need to get into those details at all. And he was literally there. 2024 Summer Olympics, with the Dutch Olympic Committee standing by their nomination despite a petition calling for him to be removed. Nah, bro. Nah. So again, yeah, sports, I need people to sort of rein that in a little bit, because that is wild. Someone said he got overshadowed by people transvestigating Imani Khalif. That was so frustrating, honestly. She did nothing wrong. Reading chat. Someone said disappointed in my country. I stand with you in solidarity as someone who's disappointed in his country as well. I really, really am. Someone said that is disturbing. It is, I guess. And I guess that's why at the same time, I should remind myself, like, I shouldn't be always jumping through so many hoops. I guess when it comes to trying to talk about this, I shouldn't always be worried about how I'm coming across, or like, oh, I don't want to get things wrong, when it's literally this level of oversight that is happening in the real world that allows people to get away with things like this. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Ridiculous. But anyways, I want to get off of this topic because it's going down a really dark path. We literally have this guy here, Ronaldo, Mike Tyson, all open in Wikipedia pages. Angelina Jolie, my fighting spirit is back. Brad Pitt. Let's just move on from that. Close the topic, bro. It's done. It's actually done. Someone said, why are these people not in jail? People get arrested for less. So many reasons. On money is one of the biggest reasons for sure. It really, really, really is. Someone said, trust you're fine. Thank you. And I am fine. We literally fine. It's not us. It is not us. Someone said, hey, I don't see the trigger warning in the stream name. Does anyone else not see a trigger warning in the stream name? That's interesting because I thought I changed that. It's there for me. Maybe you should like refresh the page or something. Yeah, people are saying it's there. Yeah, sorry. I don't know if maybe you were there before I changed it and it didn't change, or maybe you got like a weird cached version of it. But yeah, definitely just refresh the page. But anyways, I think I'm going to be moving off of the triggering content for a while anyway. So I'm sorry I don't see it. Oh, that's so interesting. It's on my browser right now. Yeah. Okay, so it seems like most people see it, but some people do not. I'm sorry for that. What I'm going to try to do, honestly, is just remember to put it there beforehand, and then we won't have to worry about this. Okay, so I'm checking my agenda to see what else I had for us to talk about today. Oh, yeah. I got some other topics. That I'm working on. Videos that are coming maybe this week, which I'm kind of excited about. They are much, much, much more lighthearted. So, I think I'm going to make... And by the way, if I say I'm going to do this and then I don't, I'm just a little guy. But listen, I'm going to make a video on Millie Bobby Brown. I'm tired of it, actually. I want to talk about it. I've mentioned her. I think this is my third or fourth time mentioning her. And yes, again, recently, I saw everybody jumping down her throat again in the comment section. And I just feel like at this point, Millie Bobby Brown discourse, it's out of hand. And instead of me like referencing it like vaguely, I'm just going to go into detail. We're going to talk about how people talking about the appearance thing, which I'm so cringed out about, people talking about this girl's face. We're going to talk about her husband and what people are saying about him being... me repeating it sounds so parasocial. These aren't my opinions, but like, oh, he's a deadbeat because he wasn't carrying bags, and her saying, no, I should be able to carry my own bags if I want. Isn't that the point? And people saying no. We're gonna talk. There's more nuance there. We're gonna get into it. We're gonna talk about the fact that she was able to adopt a child at 21, which I do think is kind of wild as hell. So the David Harbour thing. Why not? Let's just get into it. I'm literally gonna.
The nuance comes from wanting the agency to be independent, even if the immediate situation doesn't require it.
Why did my phone literally just start talking? It was listening to me. It listened to me. It says she wasn't carrying bags and her saying I should be able to carry my own bags if I want. Isn't that the point? And people saying no. We're going to talk. There's more nuance there. We're going to get into it. I'm just being monitored all the time. I did not say the magic words. I didn't say anything that should have activated my phone. I don't know why it was listening to me. Someone said FBI, man. Bro, please. I am so over this. But I saw someone ask, did she actually do something, or are people being weird? Chat. I don't think she did anything. I think 9 times out of 10, when I'm talking about a celebrity who is constantly embroiled in some sort of minor league discourse, I usually can be like, oh, well, they made this one. I see why people are mad about this, or, oh, well, there's just something about them. Like, they continually don't get this one thing. But, like, I don't think Millie Bobby Brown has done anything. Even her literal interactions with her co-star are being like scrutinized, talking about her versus Louis Partridge, or however you say his name. And I'm just like, dude, y'all gotta leave this woman alone, for real, for real. You really, really do. Someone said adopting at 21. Oh, okay, no, adopting at 21 is, yeah, no, that's the thing that she did. Okay, hold on, that's really tricky though, because like, I think that's a bad thing, and I don't think anybody should do that. But that's not the thing that people are coming for her over. I think if that was the main thing, then I would agree that yes, we should have a conversation about this. But I'm just curious or confused as to why it keeps manifesting as like, oh, actually, she's annoying, or we don't like her personality in interviews, or we don't like her face, or the way that she's dressing, or we feel like there's drama between her and her Stranger Things co-stars. I'm like, if that is the actual problem, I think people should talk about that and not these 5,000 other things where I don't understand why she keeps going mini viral for. So that is odd. Just the way this has all been manifesting. Yeah, as far as the adoption thing, like, man, how, bro, 21, man. I don't want to get hit with the patronizing accusations because I'm Unk. Remember, I'm turning 28 soon, but I just think about being 21 and I was like, dog, I was still trying to shake off the last remnants of me being a baby when I was 21. God forbid I was raising a baby. But you know what? Like, people do that. So what can you say? What can you say? So I don't know, it's not really that crazy. I feel like people have kids at 21 and younger all the time, and there's not a shortage of kids that need to be adopted. Yeah, I mean, a child being taken care of is a good thing for sure. That's not my main problem. I guess it's more of a thing where, like, even though this is me being judgmental and telling people what they should do with their lives, both of which I think are wrong, I would strongly dissuade anybody who is 21 from adopting a child. I guess even though on some level I recognize this fully to be like, it's not my place because it's not my life, I just would be like, hey, don't do that for so many reasons. Most of those reasons being you. But what do I know? What do I really know, man? It's wild. Someone said her work with the UN has come under scrutiny. Millie Bobby Brown's work with the UN, or what? I didn't know she did work for the UN. Or are you talking about Angelina Jolie because she's in the title? That I don't know. Someone says she's been hated since season 1 of Stranger Things. Yeah, people have been on her case for literally ever. Someone said, can you name those reasons? I'm curious. Instead of talking about Millie, a human that I don't know, I will give you some reasons for myself of why I should not have had a child at 21 and didn't. Personally, when I was that age, I definitely just did not have the stability that would have been useful when handling another human being who is like wildly, babies are just, they're on baby mode. They're literally doing the most. And when I was 21, I also was on baby mode sometimes. I think most of the times I was absolutely an adult, but then I had my moments of being 21 where I'm like, I've only been an adult for 3 years. I'm basically 3. And then I would act 3, and it wasn't cute for anybody. And I definitely don't think that would have been good if I was doing that and responsible for a child. So like, that's why I wouldn't do it, mostly because I was still trying to figure some stuff out of just how to be better at being a good person more often than not type beat. But hey, that's just me. That's literally just me. Someone said I'm 27 and didn't even know I was trans until 23. Most people are barely adults by their 20s, honestly. Yeah, that's the thing, is like, I feel like I'm walking on a tightrope. I feel like I'm walking on a tightrope because I don't just want to come out and say you don't even know who you are when you're 21. I think you don't even know who you're going to turn into when you're 21. I think for sure there are core aspects of your personality that you do know, obviously, as a young person. There's things I knew when I was 21 that I was right about, the whole world told me I was wrong about, and I was correct, actually, because I know who I am, and I always have. But also, I've turned into a person at age 27 that I didn't think I was going to be. And that's interesting. I guess if I've had, someone said what topic are we on right now? Bro, we're literally just ranting about children. I guess if I had a kid and that was happening during that process, that would have been fine. But yeah, no, I don't want to sound judgy, but I'm being judgy, but it's more so just because like I can't help but think about myself. Someone said I didn't know I was trans at 21. Me neither. I don't know what it is about 21. I just had like horse blinders on. I was like, no, I'm broken for no reason, I guess. It's a mess. Someone says the frontal lobe development. Yeah, and I know that our conception of frontal lobe development is a little bit of a myth. It's not something that magically clicks into place at once you're 23, 24, 25, but it is definitely something that is still developing, especially when you are in your early 20s type beat. I just feel weird as some random dude sitting around on the internet and strongly saying, hey, this woman has a child, and I find that weird because I'm just like, I never want to be that guy. So it's a little tricky for me. Someone said, I don't think most people should be having kids at 21, but my issue is less with the age and just adoption in general. The adoption industry is bad. Well, yeah, I feel like that's a thing where I've had to do so much unpacking as an adult, because like when I was a kid, I would see adoption in media and it was presented as this magical thing, which by the way, obviously it's a good thing in a lot of cases. I'm literally not trying to like speak over people. I wasn't adopted. But in media, it's literally like this magical thing that can happen to a child. And then in real life, I start finding out adoptees being like, oh, it's crazy because this was actually traumatizing for me for these reasons. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that could be bad. So yeah, I do think for sure like we should all do a lot of research into adoption. So much research into adoption, actually. It's very interesting. Someone said adoption in the foster care system is very dark-sided. Yeah, no, and I'm literally not trying to speak over adoptees. If you're like, brother, my parents adopted me into, and I could not be happier, that's good. That's the intended result. I'm literally glad that this has happened. It's just not how it works out for everybody, unfortunately. Someone said it's super, super complicated. Yeah, very much that. So I guess maybe for my Millie Bobby Brown video, I might low-key not get into the adoption topic too heavily, because I really, really, really feel like that's one of the areas in which I just I'm not educated enough to talk about it. I'm just not. Adoption wasn't my lived experience, and I've never been proximate to it. I've quite literally only heard it talked about. I'll be happy to boost other people's voices about it, but like, yeah, I'm still educating myself on what adoption even is, type beat. For real. All I know is I personally would like, I wouldn't do it, but that's literally just me, based off the things that I myself have seen. It's just, again, really tricky because you never want to feel like that weirdo swooping in and being like, all of these people are wrong. That's not what I'm doing by saying any of this. Someone said if you don't feel qualified, it's not worth going into. Yeah, no, when I was younger, I thought I wasn't going to have, I don't know. Okay, here. When I was younger, I thought I was going to have kids, obviously. I was like, yeah, I'm going to be a father. Duh. Wife, picket fence, 2.5 children. But then, like, I got a little bit older and I have my career and stuff and all of my hobbies. And I kind of realized, like, oh, I'm probably not going to have kids or whatever. But I feel like 27 has been my first year where I actually realized, oh, I'm not having kids. I think if you asked me if I was 26, if I was going to have kids, I would have been like, no. If you asked me when I was 25, like, Danzo, are you going to have kids someday? I'd be like, no, probably not, no. But now that I'm 27, going on 28, I realize, oh, the answer is no. It's no. It's not no, it's no. That's the answer. I used to think the answer was just a normal no, but now I realize it's an emphatic, bold, and elongated no. Um, and it's interesting knowing that about myself now. And I've literally already received pushback in the real world for this. What did somebody say? Oh, like, don't you want to like pass on your legacy? I was like, my legacy of making goofy internet videos? What are we talking about here? What legacy? I'm just a guy. I'm just some person. There's nothing that is so important for me to pass on. That's the main thing that I hear as a man of like, well, don't you want to pass things on? And I'm like what? Trauma? No, I don't want to do that. Because I think the thing that I used to think in my head, and this is crazy because like this is low key real talk, but why not? We're already here. It's just you and me, and ignore all the other people. I used to in my mind see having a kid or whatever as like I was literally going to prove that I could do it right. That's what I wanted to do. It was really important to me as somebody who was a former child to be like, I just want to create an actual beautiful space for a child. I want someone to be in this world and actually be able to like rely on me. And that's important. Notice how many times I've said I. Notice how many times I've said I. And I did genuinely want this child, to feel happy, safe, secure. I wanted there to be a happy person in this world. But mostly because I just thought that it was something I could do. And I've kind of realized at this point, I don't have to do any of that to prove that I'm a good person. I can just say I'm a good person. And you can all take my word for it. I don't have to become an amazing parent. I don't need like some child who I successfully raised for everyone to look at me in my life and be like, yeah, that's a good person. No, you can just take my word for it because I'm pretty great, really. I'm not a good person, but like I'm trying just as hard as I would even if I did. So yeah, that's all I've got. I got bored. I got bored of the idea of like me being a good person by being a good parent. I'm just like, that for me is just I would be bored as hell. I know for sure that I would be probably, I feel like when the child is 7 years old, that's when I would be looking at them doing whatever kids do, watching something or playing with Legos or whatever. I don't know what their interest would be. And I probably would be like off to the side, like just like in true ADHD fashion. Can I just move on to another project? I would love this person, obviously, and I would still continue to take care of them. I don't know why I'm telling you guys this, but I don't care. I literally fear that the same way I treat my projects in real life, even though this would be an entire human that I would love forever, I would at one point just get ADHD bored of them. And then every single bit of me being a good parent, I would have to be trying really, really hard. Because when I get ADHD bored of something, I have to try really hard to do it. I have to literally make myself do things that I am not actually like fixated on. And the thought of this being a child's experience, I'm like, no child deserves a parent who is having to force themselves to be there. So I'm not saying you shouldn't have a kid if you have ADHD. I'm just saying I shouldn't have a kid and I have ADHD and I don't think it helps. That's just me, baby. Someone said that's very real though. Hey, I'm just being honest. What can I say? And you know, the crazy thing is like, maybe my mindset could change, but also again, now that I'm 27, I'm like, no, it's not changing. My mindset is never changing. There's just never, ever, ever going to be somebody there relying on me in that way. Never happening. Nope. Someone said I wish parents had that level of self-reflection. Well, I think the thing is like, I did I always knew that I wanted to work on myself first. That was the thing. Back when I thought I was going to have kids, I told myself, I'm not going to do that thing that parents do that pissed me off, where they have a kid and then they didn't work on themselves first, so they're messing everything up for the child. But then something really plot twisty happened. I began working on myself, especially like with therapy and stuff. And the work revealed that I shouldn't have a child. That's not what I thought was going to happen. I literally thought like, yeah, we're going to go through therapy and I'm going to like talk about my goals and dreams of being a parent and wanting to be, you know, figure some things out beforehand. And then they're going to help me do that in a good way. But all that did was help me realize this should never happen. And so that's where I'm at now. Yay. It's so interesting. So I'm so happy people are finally coming to that conclusion. Yeah, I did. Again, like to that point, I will still literally always shout out the good parents in this world because there's a lot of them. And also, I'm happy to have, you know, I got lucky with the parental gotcha, but like it doesn't have, we don't all have to live the same life, bro. That's the thing I'm realizing. We don't all have to live the same life. We don't all have to be good in the same way, I think. Because I do think some people, they do seem like they were meant to be parents, really. Like, it brings them a lot of fulfillment and they're creating a good and safe space. But like, now I have to ask myself, well, what does fulfillment look like outside of that dream that was being imposed upon me? It's so interesting. But yeah, I'm happy. I don't know. I'm not lonely. I'm not bored. Because if I get bored, then I just do things, or if I get lonely, then I go hang out. I guess like I don't exactly understand what I'm missing. I don't understand what I'm missing, so it's interesting. So say I don't have the disposition for kids at all, and the state of the world is so bad. I feel like I'm co-signing a certain doom. Yeah, no, I can't do it. Also, I've talked about this on stream before, but I already raised 3 kids. I already did it. And you can't make me do it again. I am 27. My siblings are in the 18 through 21 range. Yes. So I was either anywhere from like 6 to almost 10 years older than all of my siblings. I did not have an older brother, older sister, older sibling. I did not have, it was me. I was the oldest. And yeah, I remember when they were born. I remember when they were babies. I remember when they were 2 weeks old and 2 years old and 20. And I quite literally have like always been responsible for their life and well-being since they were babies. And yeah, I basically have already raised 3 people. So I'm good. Now, granted, my parents did most of the raising. So I will concede, like, okay, yes, sure, mom and dad, I'll let you guys have 95% of the credit, but y'all better give me 5% of the credit. As the oldest child, I 5% raised my siblings. 5%. Y'all better give me 5% of that credit, or we are actually gonna have words. Y'all know at least 1 out of every 20 times it was me raising them. So yeah, I think about like the process of a child, and I'm just like, didn't I already do this? And I was really happy and grateful to be able to do it. I literally would not change my life in any meaningful way. It's funny, I talk about my younger siblings and sometimes I feel like I sound like a parent, to the point where like it wasn't easy and I did kind of sacrifice a lot, but in my mind I don't care. Like, I would sacrifice twice as much. I would do it all again in a heartbeat, just because I'm glad that these people are here in my life still. I would do anything for them time and time again, and I have. So yeah, I guess I feel already really intense bonds towards like people who are already relying on me, and no, it's not in the traditional way, but I'm just happy. I'm happy to be there. Like nah, I just don't think I can do it again. I'm good. I really am. Someone said, as the oldest child, I 90% raise my siblings and our mom. 10% of the time she decided to be mom. For every oldest, there's going to be a range between something bigger than 0 and maybe something slightly less than 100. And I would believe any number. If you're like, I did it 2% of the time, I believe you. If you're like 99% of the time, it was me there, I believe you too, because I've seen it all. For real, for real. Someone said, I'm so proud and happy of my little siblings. I would miss having them around so much. Yeah, being an older sibling is kind of nice, or it can be. I don't know what it's like for y'all, but it makes me really happy because, like, I don't know. You go through a really interesting character arc when you have siblings. You go from people who are born and they think you're the coolest person ever, and then they reach an age where they do not think that you're the coolest person ever. And you're also a child during this, so you're trying to figure out how to be a person at all. And then if you're very, very lucky, you might reconcile to a point where they see you as just a person. And that's where I wound up with my siblings, which I couldn't be happy about. They're just 3 other adults who I was there for and can still be there for. And so yeah, I would literally never change that for the world, honestly. And someone said I'm the youngest of 3 and I always wanted younger siblings. It's cute. Younger siblings are cute. They're great. Someone said my brother isn't much younger, but I am always so freaking proud of him. That's sweet. I love this like sibling appreciation that we're getting right now. Reading. Someone said a lot of older siblings, including my own, are a little resentful in my experience. Oh, okay. I was also resentful as hell though. Chat, you're getting like healed D'Angelo. You're getting a version of me that has talked about these things to other people first. Because when I used to try to talk about these things, I would open my mouth and it would just be like, why me? And I didn't ask for this and I didn't deserve. A lot of anger. I learned, thankfully, to like dial that back to a solid, honestly, 0 most of the time, maybe 5% some of the times. But yeah, no, I used to be so angry. I used to be so mad. I wasn't, the thing is, I wasn't mad at anyone, right? I wasn't mad at my actual siblings. I wasn't necessarily mad at my parents. I was just mad. I was like, why is it me? Like, if you've ever watched the movie Encanto, the character Luisa, the song that she sings about like surface pressure, it was literally that of like, why is it always like your sister's gonna do it? I mean, I wasn't the sister, I was the brother in this case. What? And it's like, just because I can, did that mean that I actually had to? So yeah, don't worry. I had my resentment era for sure, and it was really not cute for me. But I realized that through therapy, while I'm absolutely entitled to feel this way and am correct to feel this way, I actually just get so much more joy out of focusing on the current state of my relationship with everybody, because I'm not there anymore. And I worked hard by drawing boundaries in my life to like not be there. So yeah, that was where the therapy really came in and was like, wow, you're so angry and we get it, but maybe if you want to be happier, you could be less angrier. So shout that out. Yeah, no, at this point, I am a happy camper. I get so happy just at the thought of, I don't know, people relying on me in that way, but trust, I needed a lot of help. I needed a lot of help, bro. Someone said, I was there for my sister's resentment toward me, and I heard and felt every bit of it, but I completely understood where she came from, and I'm now glad she doesn't hate me now. Yeah, I think that's a rough thing, is when you're like, when you don't know where to direct your anger and it winds up coming out at the wrong people is really unfortunate. Because in general, I think like anger is one of the most, because resentment is literally just anger, and annoyance is also anger. And when you don't know where to direct that and it winds up falling on the wrong person, that's just so catastrophic. But chat, that was one of the things that scared me the most about therapy. And is me not thinking about myself as somebody who is just constantly angry, because I'm like, no, I'm not a constantly angry person. In fact, I feel like my life, most of the like, what's the word I'm looking for, like, obstacles that I face in my life are coming from people who are constantly angry. And so I resolved a long time ago to not be that person. But then my therapist explaining, like, annoyance is anger. And I was like, well, just because I'm constantly annoyed doesn't mean I'm constantly angry, right? And it's like resentment is also anger. Bitterness is anger. And me essentially realizing that in my fear of becoming an angry person, I had just split anger into like 5 or 6 other states that I was feeling all the time. Yeah, that was pretty rough. That was pretty rough. So yeah, I really had to like sit behind the fact that at the end of the day, I was just mad. I was mad as hell. And me being able to finally say that, it was so good. It was so good to be like, wow, I am upset. I'm actually furious. I can't believe this has happened. Because then I was actually able to believe it after the fact. I was in a constant state of disbelief over my own circumstances because I couldn't admit how I actually felt about them. Which I didn't know I was doing. It's so interesting. And that's why nowadays one of the things I work really hard on is just saying how I truly feel. And being like, I'm upset by that, even if it's privately. I had no idea, by the way, how much talking to yourself is a thing, or at least is for me, because like in my mind, it was always like, I want to confront all the people who are wronging me, type beat. And also I was wronging a lot of people in that process. But like me sort of realizing like sometimes you can just say the way you feel to yourself. You can confront yourself with your own feelings. And so nowadays I spend a lot of time being like, wow, this is really upsetting. And I don't like that this has happened. I don't like being treated this way. And then I'm able to move past that. And I'm able to be like, but I was treated this way, and now we have to pick up these pieces, and I still need to maintain this relationship. So I either need to draw a boundary, or I need to call this out, or whatever. But like, what would happen before, I would just get annoyed. Something bad would happen, or someone would do me wrong, or whatever, and I just get kind of like, ugh, I get a little bit of an ick, and I just like put it aside. I'd like put it on the back shelf, in the storage unit, and then I move on with my life, and it's like this, that, the other. Not realizing I'm over here like literally dragging a storage container full of minor annoyances when it really would have been more beneficial to just feel for a single moment actual rage. Just don't act upon it in a way that you're going to regret. But truly, it's nice though. But yeah, that I have no idea why that took me so long to figure out. Because I think at first I was just like, well, I'm not mad, so I don't know what to tell you. I was so proud of myself for not being an angry person, but it was a lie. Wah, 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 wah. Someone said talking to myself really helped me understand what I studied at uni. I used to debate myself to get more of an understanding on that topic. I feel like talking to yourself is such an underrated tool for understanding, because sometimes just hearing it aloud recontextualizes things, or at least it does for me, I guess. Someone said this is the advice I needed. Thank you. Hey, I'm glad it was able to help somebody. It certainly helped me a lot. I think the thing is, when I was younger, I used to kind of relish my anger a lot, or I kind of liked that I was angry, because honestly, I felt like I should be. And I was right. I was correct. It was good that I was feeling something and I was able to identify that. But simultaneously, I was literally never allowing space for me to actually feel anything positive. And that's what I didn't realize. By holding on so tightly to all of this like bitter and just self-protection type stuff, when you're not really protecting yourself, you're blocking out all of the good. So nowadays, I try to be somebody who's a lot less cynical, which is not easy for me and my cynical self, but I try to be like, can I just feel like unabashedly happy? Or when I get excited about things, I try not to tamp them down. I'm like, instead of me being excited but feeling like there's a countdown timer and unhappiness is lurking right around the corner once the hourglass runs out, what if I just only focus on the happy feeling? And I do. I was like, what if I just get giddy about this? What if I just get excited about this and I don't have to answer for it or view it as an oppositional state to the way I usually am? So yeah, I've been trying to be a lot more open, I guess, towards happiness. And it feels fake as hell sometimes. Sometimes it'd be feeling fake as hell in a world like this. But at other times I reflect and I'm like, I think that was actually me being happy for run back those last 2 days. I think I had a period of actually being happy. I don't know how I did that, but yeah. And I will take those periods over nothing any day, bro. Any day. For real, for real. Someone said, my anger was a defense against being neglected by my parents and all the adults around me. I'm trying to accept that piece of me while also moving on and healing. Yeah, well, that's the thing is like, it can be such a multiple things are true scenario. You know what I mean? Because I feel like one thing I've always asked myself is what would actually make me happy? What would actually make me happy? And the answer is, drumroll please, if nothing bad had ever happened to me. I would find myself getting really angry in therapy and stuff, not with my therapist, but just angry because I'm just like, wow, we're literally doing all of this back and forth and unpacking. But you know what would actually really help me out here is if somebody went back in time and those crazy things that I experienced didn't occur. Or if the thing that I was missing, that it wasn't my fault that I was missing, I had actually been provided. Then this wouldn't be a problem. So it feels like happiness is this sort of time travel-y thing that is not actually available to you because, well, life already happened. And what I used to describe myself as, which it just feels really, I don't like this metaphor because it just feels really fatalistic, but I still describe myself this way, I won't lie, is it just kind of feels like when I was younger, it's kind of like I was a pot or, you know, some form of clay work. And then their imperfection happened before I was actually cured. You know, you're shaping this pot or whatever, and whoop, you messed up this corner of it. Okay, you can't go back and fix that. I'm not malleable anymore. I think was a big thing that I was running into with my therapist. I'm just like, I literally understand everything you're saying about the way that I could potentially be, but I'm not this way. I got messed up and then cured. I grew over it. I baked. I am solid. I am never going to be able to fix this if it's actually the way that I am. But I know this sounds like cope. I know this sounds like cope. You start kind of getting into this like kintsugi vibe of just because there is imperfection here, which yes, we can't go back in time and make you perfect from the beginning. I'm sorry. You can still be beautiful. You can still serve, or like you can have a reason for being in this world. You're not broken to the point of you not actually having a purpose. I think even an imperfect work of art still obviously has so much value, etc. And so I just kind of feel like, what do you do from there? That was the thing I was never able to move forward to. Like, okay, we know at this point there are some things that I'm just never going to be 100% on, obviously, but I had to let go of the happiness that was inside the perfect pot. It was never going to happen for me. And realizing happiness instead can be kind of a wonky one, but it has a really nice coat of paint. Or a kind of wonky one, but it's made out of really interesting material. A kind of wonky one, but like it was in a really loving place, you know? Everybody else was like, oh, that pot's really scuffed, but somebody loved it. I just think that there's so many ways to be my imperfect self and still happy about it that don't actually involve me being forced to be perfect. And a lot of that was mostly coming from my, like, I'm in therapy for a lot of things, but like neurodivergence was a really big one where it's just like, what is the point of all of this? Like, I'm not neurotypical. I have a disorder. I am never going to be as happy as, or that's what I was thinking. But it's more so, we'll figure out what the happy story is for you now that you're here. Because it's not hell. Don't resign yourself to hell. I basically threw myself away because I thought that I was imperfect. But a lot of therapy for me has just been like, take yourself out of the damn trash and start getting uncomfortable enough to find scenarios where you are appreciated. That part, I did have personal responsibility for. I didn't have responsibility for the way that I turned out or my childhood. I was a child, or disorders. What I was born this way in some ways, or it happened to me or whatever. But what I absolutely have responsibility for, like, don't throw yourself away. Don't do that. Don't do that. You have to accept on some level that you're basically just wrong. And yeah, once I did that, and I was like, okay, well, this is really uncomfortable and I hate everything about this, but I guess I will try to put myself in scenarios where maybe I could envision happiness, even though I feel like this is kind of fake. I've been happier. I've been happier. So that's basically it. Yeah, don't throw yourself away, because you're writing yourself off before you ever had a chance to figure out where you actually belonged. I guess, or whatever. Or maybe all of my therapists are lying and none of this is helpful advice, and I'm ruining your lives further if you listen to me, but I don't know, maybe it's helpful for like one person. It's so stupid. Someone says it's so hard not to want to throw myself away. You're not wrong, but man. Well, I think the thing is, like, you also got to reframe your ideas of, like, you haven't given up on yourself anyway. I used to think that I had obviously given up on myself. Just look at my life. I have not grown or changed in any meaningful way in the past however many years. But then I kind of realized, like, but I am here. But I am still here, actually. And that's kind of a much bigger deal than I was allowing for. So yeah, I guess kind of realizing, even if 99% of me 99% of me has just given up or moved on, what is that little burning thing that has spite? There's just a little bit of spite or resentment or rage that is still here. I honestly worked off of that. Maybe if I was better, or if I was a better person, I could sit here and honestly say to you, I've gotten better over the past few years because I wanted to be better. And I wanted to be a happy person who is motivated by positivity. But that's not true. I was just motivated by spite, honestly. I was so angry at so many things that happened. And I was like, I don't deserve to feel this way. And it's not my fault. And so I used that. To get my butt in the seat for those therapy sessions. I wasn't sitting there because I'm like, yeah, I want to be better. I didn't care about being better. I just thought, honestly, I don't deserve to be worse. I think if everybody else is running around and they seem fine and I'm over here suffering for what? I was really stubborn. I stubbornly decided I'm going to stay here no matter what. And to this day, I think I'm still resentful as hell. That maybe like 85% of me is motivated by neutrality and 10% might be positivity. But 5% of me, I'm actually just still mad that this world is full of people who are worse than me and happier. Every single day, I will always be mad. I will literally always wake up and be like, okay, hold on. I'm not the one who is doing everything from having crazy allegations to like rewriting legislature for hatred against marginalized people or killing people and other, like, I'm not doing any of this, and I am the one having trouble sleeping at night because I hate myself. Let's rework this. The math is not mathing. It's really not mathing for me. So yeah, to this day, as I continue to maintain my mental health, a large part of that is just because I'm just like, screw the rest of y'all. I hate y'all so much. So I'm going to try to be a little bit happier. Maybe I shouldn't be admitting this, but you got to take the good and the bad. If these feelings lead me to actually getting up out of bed and being able to do my job and not have my life fall apart, then I'm going off of that. That's all I've got to say. Somebody said, I'm 20% spite, but that spite is 100% justified. The leftover 80% is just life is a highway on loop. Life really is a highway. And probably the thing that I repeat at the end of the day is literally just like, it really do be like that. Because I can sit here and wax poetic about like pot metaphors and helpful things that my therapists have pointed out or realizations that I've come to at the end of the day. But that's just me on a good day. Probably like 75% of the time, I literally just roll my eyes at whatever has happened. I'm just like, well, it really do be like that. Or I just say, oh, say lovey. I tried and I don't know what the point of that was, but I guess that's the way life goes. And alas, I'm still here. I really am still kicking. Someone said life is a highway and I don't know how to drive. Life is a highway. My license was literally suspended. It's messy. Reading chat. Someone said, D'Angelo, I really encounter a person talking about their hypersensitivity. Can you answer this? Did you go through a lot of insecurity as a kid, like toddler, to test my theory? Oh, do you mean like my actual like sensory issues stuff that I deal with? Was I insecure as a kid? No. And I'm very sorry if that's like skewing your research in any way, but yeah, as a kid, I had a big old head. I was so sure of myself. I got in trouble all the time because I thought I knew everything. I was very confident for somebody who was so deeply, hesitant to think things out is how I would describe myself as a kid. But yeah, bro, I don't know where my sensory issues came from. I hate them though. Take them away. Someone said, D'Angelo, are you still in therapy? Oh yeah, I doubt I'll ever not be. Because I feel like the thing is like, if it's not one thing, it's another. Truly. And also, if I'm ever not in therapy, it's just me being between therapy sessions. Like, I have periods of time where like, no, I'm totally not in therapy and I'm fine, but I'm not gonna lie to you. I always know in the back of my mind, like, I need to sign back up. And then I do, and that's fine. That's okay. That's just the way life goes. Life is a highway, say lovey. It really do be like that. It really, really do. Are people talking about hyper awareness? Yeah, no, my hyper awareness just came from, well, I just always felt like on some level it was just unsafe to actually be myself. And I never knew why, but I always knew that it was true. Is how I feel. It's wild, man. Someone says neurodivergence is interesting and sometimes fun and sometimes crappy. It is. Sometimes it is fun though. Like, that's the thing. I'm never gonna let none of y'all take away the fun parts of being neurodivergent from me, because it's literally all I have. At the end of the day, would I change it? No. And also obviously yes. Both of those are my answer. Literally both of those are my answer. Someone said insert ZocDoc sponsor. I literally just turned down ZocDoc. I just turned them down. Or maybe this was a while ago, I don't remember. But yeah, they love sponsoring the space, and I was like researching into ZocDoc, and I was like, man, it would be cool to do a sponsorship or whatever. But at the end of the day, what with the BetterHelp thing, I just was like, I don't want to be responsible. I don't want to, even though I feel like ZocDoc is actually pretty much a fine service when it comes to anything that is even slightly related to telehealth at this point. I'm just not comfortable as an influencer promoting it in any way, because it's possible to mess up in ways that are so big and so beyond me. I just would never want to be part of that story. So I feel like ZocDoc is fine, low key. If you're watching YouTubers and they're sponsored by them, I don't think it's that bad. I just fear, how can we really know that it's not going to be BetterHelp Part 2? That's honestly how I feel. I will literally let me promote anything, bro. They had like some blinds company was reaching out to me. I'm like window blinds, fine, whatever. I'll sell some window blinds, but like maybe not health related things yet, until some of y'all work out some of these kinks for real, dog, for real. Someone said erring on the safe side is always for the best, to be honest. With people's health, absolutely. That being said, I am finna accept some sponsorships. Trust. I think this year we've done Surfshark, which I was happy with. I think I did Rocket Money and Incogni, and all those were fun. I would do them again if they came back. Hey guys, you're watching, come back. But yeah, I don't mind sponsorships. Making money is a useful thing in this world for sure, but maybe I don't need to accept literally every sponsorship that comes my way. Someone said they just seem shady to me. Like, I don't trust any YouTube advertisement, just like Honey. Yeah, they just feel shady, and I feel bad for them because I'm like, wow, you really might be a good service, but you picked a really bad time to be a telehealth related online tech service that is being heavily promoted by YouTubers, because that never seems to end well. Someone says, do you even use Rocket Money? They're not paying me to say this. Yes, I have had my Rocket Money account since the first time that I did a brand deal for them in 2020. I don't remember. 2021, 2022. They used to be called Truebill, if I remember correctly. I may be misremembering this, but I think I've actually used this product since before it was called Rocket Money. So yeah, I really, really do. So I legit love Rocket Money. Yeah, on God. Like, listen, sometimes I will tell you about a product and no, I don't use it. And I'm not going to say like, I use this every day. I'm going to be like, with this product, you can do this. But with Rocket Money, when I say like, yeah, I've had this app forever, I really have. They haven't like scammed me. I've not lost anything. It's a pretty cool service. It's pretty cool. Someone said not you giving free promo. I know, but also they only pay me for one sponsorship. So you can use whatever service you want. I ain't got no loyalty unless they come back, in which case we love Rocket Money on this channel. Someone said, can't you just check your bank accounts for your subscriptions though? I feel like it's a waste of money. You can for sure. Actually, almost everything that any YouTuber promotes is objectively going to be a waste of money. I just feel like it's useful to have a dashboard for someone like me. I can be very visual, and sometimes my big statements are simply not enough for me to actually have a grip on things. And I'm sure one could say, hey, just be better at budgeting type beat, but I'm not. I'm really, really not. Someone said, you were the first I heard of Vessi, and now I need a code. I literally still have my Vessi shoes. Now, granted, I've heard, like, I can't speak to that. I'm not telling you buy Vessi shoes and you're actually gonna they're gonna last for years, but they're still in my closet. On God, I will slip those joints on every now and then. They're not my daily wear shoes, but I love them. It's great. Someone said Scentbird is the biggest scam. I've done Scentbird before years ago. I wouldn't do them now because I think something really weird came out about their CEO or something like they were related to a cult. I should double check that before spreading that. But yeah, I would probably skip. I would probably skip Scentbird at this point. Someone said I route all my subscriptions through PayPal so they're easier to keep track of. That's smart, honestly. Someone said, I'm sorry, but I've always seen Rocket Money as a rich people thing. I could see it that way. Someone said, I haven't figured out how to clean my white Vesties. Oh, that's no fun. Mine are black. So I can't speak to that. I've had to clean them for sure, but I haven't had that particular issue. Someone said Honey was the biggest scam. I feel so bad for the influencers. I feel bad for the influencers. I feel bad for me. I promoted Honey years ago and I didn't realize what was going on there. I was being taken advantage of essentially. But yeah, screw Honey, actually. And there are other sites where you can easily find discount codes for places, which I still use, even though I can't think of any off the top of my head. Someone said, what's Whatnot? Oh, I have so many mixed feelings on Whatnot, but it's basically like TikTok Shop as a standalone app. That's not a fair assessment of what it is, but that's pretty much what it is. And then they also have this built-in sort of semi-gambling-ish component where it's like a wheel and you pay to hopefully get something worth a lot, but you might just get something worth a little. So yeah, I mean, Whatnot's fine. I'm not gonna lie, I also turned down that deal as well because I'm just like, I'm not living for this semi-gambling aspect personally. Someone said Honey was good at first. Honey was literally good at first. Like, I did use it. I think I've saved. Wait, I shouldn't be promoting them, but I'm just saying before the scandal came out, I did save a lot on using that product, but I still would never promote them at this point. Someone said whatnot is people making you feel bad for buying things, for not buying things. Yeah, very much like pressure vibes. Not a fan, but you got to do what you got to do. Your faves may not tell you this. I'll be happy to tell you. Sponsorships are in a transitional period, and this happens all the time where sometimes you will have a lot of really cool brands coming in, like Squarespace. I like Squarespace. I don't think they're bad. Or like, you know, the normal VPNs. No, not everyone needs a VPN, but frankly, all the VPNs I've tried, they literally do work, and I always have one on my computer. You'll have like the cool brands coming in, but then they cycle over the course of years through periods. And right now, sponsorships are in a really, really weird spot where all the ones who want to pay the most are sketchy as hell. Like free cash. I keep seeing free cash sponsorships and I'm annoyed because I'm like, you guys know obviously that even if free cash has worked for some people, this is still a scam. And they've been called out for so many shady things, and free cash is spending like crazy right now. Whatnot has like hella big spend. ZocDoc, who again, they seem to be fine, but I just will forever be wary of due to the BetterHelp thing. They're not related to BetterHelp. I'm slow on telehealth stuff right now. So we have some like weird players in the space, and I'm not really rocking with a lot of them. But what's going to happen probably is like then they cycle out and there will be new brands, and I will be happier to tell you about all of them. But yeah, I kind of hate the free cash and whatnot sort of it all. I'm cringed out. I really am. Someone said, where do they even get the money for those sponsorships? Never underestimate the advertising budget of an online company. There's literally always, they have so much more money than one would assume, and I don't know where it comes from, but they must just make a lot of money off of the service. They really, really must. Someone said, anyone remember Dollar Shave Club? They seem cool. I remember that. Also, I think I've done a Manscaped sponsorship, and I still use Manscaped. They're great. You don't even have to be a man. If you just have anything that you want to shave with a little electric razor, I think Manscaped was great. They should come back. Come back, Manscaped. I miss you. Change your name to be more inclusive. Oh my gosh. Someone said angel investors invest in anything. Literally anything that breathes or doesn't breathe. There will be somebody like, we should spend millions of dollars to market and try to make this a thing. Someone said everything is gambling nowadays. Yeah. Also, did you see Timothy Chalamet doing stuff for Kalshi? Because that was nasty. That was actually, or I might be wrong about this, but I want to make sure I'm right about this. Okay, my computer's acting bonkers bananas right now. Here I am. Okay. Timothy Chalamet Kalshi. Oh yeah. Yeah. Timothy Chalamet's prediction market ad is seriously tacky. Okay, so I guess this happened a few weeks ago. Timothy Chalamet roasted for Kalshi prediction market ad. Bro sold his soul. Yeah, speaking of everything being gambling, we're just in a bad time with this gambling stuff. I am embarrassed. He didn't even get hardly any. Is this his actual account? It literally is. He didn't even get hardly any engagement on this except people hating it. Everything is terrible, bro. Everything is terrible. For real. It's also crazy to me that like you literally don't need the money. You don't need the money. I know that you don't. I fear if I can turn down a couple of tiny teeny brands on YouTube Timothy Chalamet can also probably afford to turn down Kalshi, but simply doesn't want to because he doesn't care. And that is cringe. Someone said, is Kalshi American? I've never heard of this. Oh, you should watch my video about, I don't remember what that video was called. But it was basically about gambling, prediction markets, etc. Prediction markets are a platform on which you can bet on anything. You're watching a sports game, you'll be like, who's gonna win? You can do Polymarket or Kalshi. I think team A, I think team B. You're like, D'Angelo, sports betting is already a thing. Okay. You can look at the political world and be like, it's a mayoral race. Who's going to win? Politician A or politician B. You can bet on that on Kalshi. You can bet on whether or not Taylor Swift was going to get married in this state or another state. You can bet on what words are the president going to say during his next speech. You can bet on reality. Anything that happens can be bet upon in a prediction market. And that is what Kalshi is. That is what Polymarket is. It is intentionally gamifying and basically turning everything into gambling. And the repercussions of this are terrible because they're encouraging people to manipulate things. People are gambling like, oh, I bet this person's gonna blow up on Spotify, and then they'll go manipulate Spotify to blow this person up on purpose. People are betting on like, oh, this politician was attacked. Let's bet on what liquid it was if that's going to be revealed. Obviously, you could see how that can easily lead to people attacking people on purpose. Just truly prediction markets are so dystopian. That's out of all, not all, but out of many of the tech related things that are happening, prediction markets are among the most dystopian. Someone said, speaking of Kalshi, there were hackers that rigged the music charts to let Malcolm Todd's album chart because of Kalshi. That's what I'm talking about specifically. Yeah, like this is so stupid. Reading chat. Someone said the bets on nukes and everything. Oh, yeah, no, like they're literally on this platform betting on like, oh, Iran and Gaza and like people being killed, bombed, destroyed. Literally. This is, and if you want an example of how like these things are, people are doing these things because they're like, oh yeah, that's gonna get me money. No, this is only a tool for people who are already in the know, because before certain like events have happened, people will make Kalshi predictions for them and then put the money in and then get a massive payout based off of these things. I'm just like, dude, this is the easiest thing to scam ever. It's so stupid. Somebody said they're betting whether people live or die. They literally are doing that. Yeah, no. So again, you can see why somebody like Timothy Chalamet plastering his face all over an ad for Kalshi is just pathetic, really. Someone said, and Trump and his son promote that. Oh yeah, I forget exactly the connection between this prediction market stuff and the Trumps, but there's one too. It's all in my video. I did a whole bit of research into it. I talked about it a few months ago. Just an absolute mess. So I don't want to think about these things. It makes me so angry. And hey, like, it's good to know, but not good to fixate on, because truly, what can we do? Everything's getting worse rapidly. We can only focus on trying to be better than it. And y'all make it really easy to be better than this. I will say that. I spent so much time of my life just wondering, like, oh, how do I be a good person? And now I see, like, oh, never mind. The bar, there was never a bar. The bar wasn't in hell. The bar wasn't underground. The bar was never on the floor. There was never, ever, ever a bar. That's what I've come to realize. And so just me trying at all, as long as it's my best, is enough. I don't even think you have to be a good person. I think you just have to try not to be a terrible person, really. And you're going to make the world better than most people are making it. Someone said Trump's son is literally hired by Kalshi. Ew. Nasty. Gotta drink some more water. Someone said, who the hell knows if there ever was a bar? Certainly not me. But yeah, I guess I'll wrap up that Kelsey topic. I'm here to tell you about another topic I haven't I may do this later, but I want to talk about meta glasses. I mentioned this already, but I've changed my mind. The answer is yes. I'm going to make a video about meta glasses because we're reaching peak nonsense. The hatred and backlash against meta glasses is here, which I'm happy about. And I actually saw this headline, which some of you may be happy. Meta glasses users scared to wear them after backlash. So everyone online made such a stink, actually, about meta glasses by calling them pervert glasses and all these other things, that some people are like, okay, maybe I'm just not going to wear these in public. The backlash is so strong that people with pervert glasses are afraid to use them in public. So someone says surveillance summer. Yeah, I was like, let's just make a video. Let's get into the surveillance summer of it all. The creep factor, the stories of people literally being like, yeah, this person at my work literally uses meta glasses to record women and has told other people this, and my work is doing nothing about it. Let's just get into it. That's not going to be a particularly difficult video to whip up. I just think it sucks and we should all stop because it's not necessary. Also, I feel like, was it literally not enough that we were already constantly being recorded anyway? Everything was already listening to and monitoring us at all times. And we were really like, oh, but we also need some glasses to do it. Oh, sorry. I'm bouncing from topic to topic. But one thing that I kept seeing come up a lot was like, oh, well, these meta glasses, they have utility. They have a purpose. Some people can use them if, like, accommodations, or like maybe people who blind people and this, that, the other. Okay, listen. I'm going to bring up another topic because I saw the same thing happen here. Celebrities creating no phone environments for their concerts. Singers being like, okay, I'm kind of tired of just seeing a sea of this when I'm recording. I'm going to institute a no phone zone. And you saw people getting mad at that by saying, well, some people need their phones because they may have certain medical accommodations or they may be disabled in some way. And I'm just going to say this. As somebody with a disability, not one in which I need, I guess, a phone at all times, but y'all don't care about nobody with disabilities. And y'all suddenly do. As a rebuttal to something that is a good idea, I'm tired. I see this happen all the time where you're like, oh, thing A is bad. And then people are like, oh my God, but what about this group of people? And it's never people within that group that are actually saying that. It's people from outside the group. And I'm like, how come the only time you're suddenly worried about accommodating people's disabilities is when you're arguing for your right to have your phone and record at a Billie Eilish concert or a Phoebe Bridgers concert or whatever? This is really, really cringe. And obviously, if somebody needs accommodations, yeah, they should be given them. You shouldn't take someone's phone away if they need it, but you don't need it. And having a phone doesn't mean you need to be recording everything. So I feel very similarly when I start talking about meta glasses being bad, and then everybody starts bringing up like, oh, well, actually, they can be useful for some people. We're not talking about those people. We didn't name them pervert glasses because we're scared of people using them to accommodate their disability. You literally just took another issue and put it in front of this issue to stop us from talking about the bigger issue. So yeah, I'm literally always in favor of accommodating people. Can we not play this game where, like, can we not muddy the waters right now, because these are two separate conversations and they're equally important. It pisses me off. Someone said bean soup idea. It's very bean soup territory where you're like, what about this? And I'm like, and also, if it was literally people with disabilities chiming in, I would not be pushing back against this. But how many times have you seen somebody who's not even in a group be like, what about these people? And I'm like, leave me alone, please. Someone said, which disability would pervert classes help? Literally, like, you can start getting into this idea of being able to personally identify things within your own home. You do have like services that already exist during which people can like use their phone to show things, and then other people in other places can help identify them for that, or identify those things for them. This is a real thing that some people do use. However, and yeah, the glasses could make that easier within their own home. But again, see how this is literally a completely different scenario than, hey, I don't think creepy Jim Bob Joe should be able to wear these glasses and record women at work without their consent. It's like two completely different worlds. It's kind of like when you're talking about AI. It's kind of like when you're talking about AI and then people start chiming in with like, oh, well, AI is helping save lives. AI is like, you can use it to like early detect cancer. And I'm like, when I'm saying that I don't want to see an AI generated Coca-Cola ad, do you think that is because I want to end cancer research and for there not to be technology that saves people's lives due to early screening? Or do you think these are two different things that don't have anything to do with each other? It's just so silly to me. It's so very silly to me. Someone said, whataboutism is the worst thing that to happen to general discourse. It really, really is. There are valid times where you should say what about. They really, really, really are. And there's a lot of times where you should say it, but I hate the way it masquerades as nuance when it's really not. It's just silly. Someone says it's killing more things than people than it saves. AI, yeah. And also, that's not the same thing. Like, generative AI isn't the thing saving lives or what. I don't know, man. People really lose me with the way they talk about some things. Someone says they have to stop conflating separate issues to create confusion. You would hope. You would really, really hope. Someone says also, if these glasses were actually created and marketed towards disabled people, it would be 500% more expensive and niche. Well, that's just depressing, though it is true, unfortunately. Someone says this argument makes sense for the people who won't differentiate between Gen AI and other types. Yeah, no, technology is great. I like it. It's a good thing and it should keep moving forward. I don't want to see AI generated Coca-Cola ads. Guzzling water to make slop is very silly to me. Very silly. Someone said the debate versions of Know You. Yeah, nah, come on. You got to give me more than that. Someone said, people talk to me like that my whole life. I make good points and get stupid, unrelated questions. I'm glad people are pointing this out now. It's more visible than it seems. It's not just you. I swear to God. Like, these people are tiring. I feel like you should at least try to see things from people's POV. If the things that they're saying are along the lines of wanting better for other people. If you're saying, hey, I don't want these glasses because I don't want people to feel unsafe in public, why are you even feeling the need to be like, well, and coming up with a bunch of no use? If you're like, hey, maybe we should like work on concert etiquette a little bit and stop having a sea of this to where the people behind us can't even see what's in front of them unless they're literally looking at my phone screen. Why does it suddenly need to be like, well, you don't have to like debate everything, I feel, especially when the things you're debating would actually make people's lives better if you were not opposing them. I don't know. It's just silly to me. Someone said hot take, I don't want to see Coca-Cola ads. Well, true. I don't want to see ads at all, but I can't say that also as a YouTuber because ads are the lifeblood, unfortunately. Someone said, have you seen the AI vertical dramas? I've heard of them. People are actually watching them. I've heard that people are watching them, but I don't know if that's true or if it's being overblown. But I've heard that there's these like vertical AI generated drama shows in which like, I don't know, they'll have like hella different parts and people are just watching them on their phone, but I don't know what the actual prevalence of that is. Someone said the what? Yeah, it's basically like if a TV show was cut down into bite-sized TikTok episodes, but they were being made with AI, and then stretched out over like 50 parts. Again, I don't know how common this is. I don't want this to sound like something everybody's doing, but I've certainly heard of it. I really, really have. Someone said my mom watches them. Dang. Someone said, I mean, Fruit Love Island was a thing. Yeah, Fruit Love Island was an example of AI vertical drama, literally. And unfortunately, people were watching them. Proud to say I never did, but then I turned around and watched Real Love Island. So, womp womp. Someone said Tung Tung Sahur dramas. Very much brain rot energy, but like, I think some of it is supposed to look real though. Some people already pirated them. God, the levels, man. Someone said, do you mean like Fruit Love Island? Yeah, Fruit Love Island is an animated version of that. It's just like, dog. I mean, to be fair, I didn't watch Fruit Love Island, but I watched a video about it. So I basically did still watch. What's the point? There is a point. I'm literally trying to be like, no, reject slop. And then I'm like, I would never, ever watch AI Fruit Love Island. But then, God forbid, a commentary YouTuber whose content I enjoy puts up a video about it. And then I'm like, okay, now I'll watch it since I piss myself off. I really, really do. Someone said animated is generous. Well, yeah, I mean, they're literally not animated. They're just AI generated in an animated style. Someone said, nice to finally be on while you're actually live. I usually watch while you're actually live. I usually watch when you trim the lives and upload. Well, hey, welcome. Yeah, we're just chilling over here. I already recorded the main topic and it's just vibes now. It really, really is. Someone said all AI video is technically animation. I would be like, no AI video is animation. Excuse me, because it wasn't animated. You know what I mean? Animation is like a physical, actual process. Like even CGI, the actual act of animating means a human being had to transform things, pose them, rig them up, move the camera, adjust the lighting, render it in a certain way. Or if it's 2D animation, obviously you have to draw this frame by frame or use interpolation if you're doing it digitally. None of that is happening with AI, so it's just not animated. Even if it looks exactly like Disney or Pixar, which it never looks that good. Yeah, it's objectively not animation is how I feel personally. Someone said my mom listens to AI Spanish Jesus music, bro, but they be getting the moms sometimes with the AI content without even realizing that's what it is. I went to someone's house and their mom was watching Spanish AI court proceedings. I've talked about this before. It was literally like a judge and he was just sitting there in Spanish, like delivering this verdict or something. My Spanish is terrible, so I wasn't really listening to what he was saying. But I didn't realize it was AI. I didn't know. But the reason why I finally realized it was on for 14 minutes straight by the time I thought something was weird. And I was like, this dude hasn't taken a water break. This dude hasn't stopped for water. He hasn't swallowed. Like, he hasn't like stumbled upon a word. He hasn't said he hasn't said and that's when I realized 14 minutes in, oh, this is AI generated. This is not a real human being. This is not a real voice. These aren't words that a person came up with. This is just Spanish AI slop. And I genuinely do not think that person's mom knew, because I didn't know. Brother, I had no idea that I was watching AI slop. So, yikes. I think when you're trying to generate really involved things like Love Island, which has a bunch of different locations and a lot of different characters, yeah, obviously it's going to look terrible. But when you're generating really small single camera stationary scenes, it can be a lot trickier to identify that as AI content, because you don't have to work as hard to try to keep it consistent. Like if you think about you watching me right now, I'm not really moving very much. I'm not really doing anything that would be super difficult for an AI to generate, I guess. I'm not standing up. You don't have to keep like my limbs consistent or anything like that. And if I didn't talk with my hands, you wouldn't even have to worry about that. I could literally just sit here and deliver every single line like this and have a little bit of inflection in my voice sometimes, and it would come across exactly as AI. Like, I hate it. Sometimes I hate when I cannot tell when things are AI, and that also scares me. Yeah, and that's why I just try to be myself and say my little dumb things that would obviously make my content be identifiable as not AI. Just because sometimes I just say stupid stuff, and I don't think AI can say stupid things. But yeah, someday it will be able to though, and that will be even worse for sure. For sure. Someone said Dave is AI. Yeah, our friend Dave back here is AI. He's not. This is animated, actually genuinely animated by real human beings off of my specifications. I designed the background. But yeah, this is the only AI you get. Is the statue back here. Reading chat. Someone said, I like hearing how you made that background in one video. Yeah, I was happy to share my process because, bro, I personally, 0-0. I'm at a 0 for the Gen AI stuff. That's just me. That's my take. You can do what you will with it for sure. But I, as an artist, I just have more fun making stuff, bro. It's more fun. And by the way, when I say made the background, I am not that skilled. I just created the actual mock-up for it, which looked a lot like this but really crappy because I don't know how to animate, and then I gave it to an architectural visualization studio and I paid very good money for them to create the weirdest project they had ever done, which was an all pink room, and then they sent it back to me and I edited it to look nice as a background, and now we're here. And yeah, sometimes you gotta spend money and pay artists, but that's a small price to pay for a banging background. Someone said, have you seen that one guy on Instagram who posts AI being really dumb when he asks basic questions or makes basic requests? I have not. I've seen that happen a lot in my personal life of people being like, why did I Google this? And Google's AI was like 2 + 2 is 5. It's so silly. Someone said that's a beautiful process. Well, yeah, I love working with artists all the time because I am one, and I love when people work with me. It's just more fun, and you come up with like cooler things, really. Someone said, hey, money paid towards artists. I'm always happy to pay money towards an artist. In fact, I have a problem when it comes to paying money towards artists all the time, and that is why I look like this now. I'm never not paying somebody to do some kind of art at some point somewhere, and one day I will run out of body to pay artists to do work on, but I'm not there yet, so it's all good, baby. One tattoo at a time. But yeah, oh lord. Maybe I support the arts a little too much. Somebody said, damn. Yeah, I'd be tatted up. I do. I try not to show it off too much in my content. I wear long sleeve on purpose because I'm just like, I'll let it be a fun fact about me instead of the first thing you notice. But it is a fun fact. It really is. Someone said artwork everywhere. That's me. I want to be walking art. And I'm sorry, I know this literally sounds made up, but someone did say it to me one time, and it was the sweetest thing ever. Someone was like, well, I just really admire like all of the work you've gotten. Like, you're like walking artwork. And I was like, thank you. Because that's literally my gender. That's literally my gender. I'm trying to be walking artwork. I didn't want to be a man, and I didn't want to be a woman. I didn't even want to be non-binary particularly. I just wanted to be a piece of art. So I felt truly seen and happy and understood that day. It was beautiful. Someone said bro is already walking art. Well, thank you. You can certainly be walking art without like 40 something tattoos. In fact, why am I dying? In fact, you should probably not do what I did, but hey, I didn't have anything else to do. Someone said gender canvas. Exactly. That was my actual real gender. That's what they should have put on the birth certificate. Blank. And then just let me be what I actually want to be, bro. For real, for real. Someone said that's literally how I described my tattoos to my mom when she was tripping out about them, a walking art piece. There's only one tattoo that my mom, she didn't trip out. To her benefit, she did not trip out about it. But there's only one tattoo that my mom ever took a while to get over. And that is this bad boy right here. And you know what? To be fair, I get it. Because that was a lot for her. Especially because I told her I would not get a face tattoo. And from my POV, I have still not gotten a face tattoo. We wound up not agreeing that day. And she was like, D'Angelo, that's a face tattoo. And I was like, yeah, but like, is it though? And she was like, yes, D'Angelo, because it's on your face. And I'm like, yeah, but like, so, you know, that one for her was a lot for sure. But even at that, she was still very understanding and accommodating and sweet, which is really nice. It's great. Someone said that would make my mom trip too. Yeah, I couldn't blame her. It's like that really weird mix of it doesn't matter if anyone other than me who exists has any opinion on anything that I do ever, because it's not their body. But also, I like when my mom was happy. So I'm lucky that she doesn't actually hate it. Yay. It's great. Someone said, D'Angelo, could you come up with more music, please? Maybe another apology vid, whatever would suit you. I was working on music and then I had to stop because now I'm working on my Love Island video. But once I finish that, I'm going to go back to the music I was working on. I think it was good stuff. I mean, probably when I say working on music, that might mean you hear a maximum of one song this year, one other, or maybe not. Maybe you'll hear one song next year. It's not going to be an album, but yeah, I've been working, I've been putting in the hours, I've been producing, writing, songwriting, doing the top lines, all that stuff. I'm excited. I love music so much. Someone said that isn't the face part of the face. That's how I feel about my face tattoo. It's not on the face part of my face, and most people don't notice it. That's a fun thing. I feel like most people watching my videos, they don't realize it's there. Most people who talk to me in real life don't realize I have one there. Probably if I hadn't told my mom first, she might not have immediately realized. But what I didn't want to happen, here's what I didn't want to happen. Because this is really what it's like. If something happens on the internet first and then it trickles down into real life, by the time that it gets there, it gets distorted into crazy town. So what I didn't want to happen was for me to live stream that one day with a face tattoo. And then my mom hears about that before seeing me. And then she just envisions me as like Post Malone or like Trippie Redd or something. So I texted her and I was like, hey, heads up, you're probably going to hear a crazy sentence like D'Angelo went and got a face tat, but it's not what you're thinking. I swear to God. And it wasn't. So alas. Someone said, I didn't realize you had the face tat until you were showing your earrings earlier in the stream. That's basically what it is. Yeah. If I like turn my head to like show something else off, or like my glasses or whatever, that's when people are like, oh, you have a tattoo on your face. What? But if I don't, people will have entire conversations with me without realizing. It's really funny. Someone say your artist is great. Well, thank you. Credit to my artist, but actually credit to me because it was 100% my design. I gave them the stencil and they applied it exactly as planned. But they did literally amazing. And also my artist has drawn some of my other tats too. They did my hand. That's their original artwork, which is so beautiful. So yeah, they're crazy talented for sure. And this person who has done my hand and my face now, I think I'm also going to get them to do my back. Also, I know it's kind of crazy for me to like not credit my tattoo artist, but I'm never going to do that online. I credit them in real life all the time, chat. At all times, I happily tell people, oh, you can go down the street and get this done at this shop. But I just don't want to blow anyone's life up like that because that's not what they signed up for when they tattooed me. So it'd be like that for real. Someone said clowns are great. Yes, I love clowns for real. Someone says I wanted to compliment the tattoo earlier, but since you weren't mentioning it, I stayed quiet. I literally appreciate that. Low key, that's kind of how I am. I mean, you are probably not going to offend me by complimenting things. But yeah, sometimes I just feel like, oh, I really appreciate that. But I don't know how they feel about it or if they're in a place to talk about it. So I'm going to appreciate from the sidelines. And then I get just as happy. Someone said, D'Angelo, do you think you could talk a little bit about the constant influx of auto dubbing happening in other language videos on YouTube? I know this has been a thing. It seems to be more lately. I literally keep telling my colleagues, turn that off. Turn that off. Actually, I need to make sure it's turned off on my stuff because I might be a hypocrite. I don't know if I have auto dubbing on. But yeah, right now there's this thing where YouTube will like, it's like AI generated, right? Unless I'm missing something. It'll like generate a track of you speaking in a different language and then automatically play that for speakers of a different language when they click into your video. And oftentimes those speakers are like, no, I wanted to watch this in English or whatever the OG was, or like, I want an actual dub. Give me an actual second track. But yeah, I have literally never heard anything positive about the auto dub feature ever in my life. I've never heard a single person say, yeah, this is a really cool thing and it's great technology. Someone says, I kind of love it, not gonna lie, the way it turns words. It's a that's what I'm saying. Like, it's literally, it's slop. It's not good. And I think the reason is because like languages don't have like a 1-1 translation. The reason dubbing is such a big process is because you need a person to think about, how can I convey the meaning of this accurately in a different language? It's not always by saying things the exact same way or whatever. So no computer is good enough to do this anyway. It's very silly. Someone said it is AI generated. It was so weird when I first heard it in my native language. It was horrible. Yeah, and then it's also just weird because like, give people the option to enable this. Don't just be like, oh, this user speaks this, so we're gonna override this with an AI generated version of their language. Just like, give people the choice. If you want to hear that, you can enable it, I guess. But yeah, no, the AI auto dub feature is weird, and I feel like it's pissing people off a lot. So I wish YouTube would stop. I wish they would stop. Someone said, I didn't realize my IG was doing that until recently. Yeah, I didn't even know it was on Instagram. That's crazy. That's crazy. Someone said, I want to try that just to laugh at it. It sounds bad. It just sounds bad, bro. Someone says it moves their mouths to match the words being translated. Like, that isn't a dangerous concept. Literally overwriting reality. And then, okay, you say something in English, auto dub misidentifies how to say this in, let's say, Spanish, and then it changes you to say it in Spanish, and you have video evidence of you saying something that you never did. That's crazy. What are we doing? We're here just to suffer, clearly. But yeah, that's why people don't realize that's happening, because it's meant to look seamless, and I'm just like, no. And they'll do this instead of banning the Nazis, by the way. Sorry to immediately drag it back into real life. I just find it baffling that it's like, yeah, we're going to spend however many untold millions of dollars it takes to do that on a feature that no one asked for. But God forbid we take even a single moderation complaint seriously and remove even one of the weird neo-Nazi or white supremacist or like hateful misogynist or violent xenophobic accounts that are proliferating on this platform. We don't have time for that. So yeah, pissing me off all the time. Really hate it. Someone said, I would much rather watch the subtitles with the sound of the original language. That being said, like, bro, I love subtitles. Listen, I know some people don't because maybe they just struggle with like immersion. I don't blame them. I'm here to talk about me. I love subtitles. I am a sub. Let's reword that. I am a fan of subs when it comes to the sub versus dub debate, is what I was trying to say. Sit down and... Anyways, I love me some subtitles, honestly, because I just... Let me figure it out, okay? Leave it up to me. I want to hear the original performance. Even though I do also really love a lot of dub dubbers. They're very talented people, and I will usually, if I like something enough, I'll watch both versions. For if it's animated. If it's live action, I personally never want to hear a dub. I always go off of subtitles. I really, really do. Someone say, "You are what?" I'm nothing. I didn't say anything. If you heard something, no, you didn't. Someone say, I laughed out loud. It's so easy to say things in the most normal way possible when you're streaming. Happens all the time. Lord almighty. Someone said, I love me some sub, but dubs are getting better these days. Okay, true though. True. I have heard some dubs recently where there's so much like personality, and in a way the voices are kind of iconic. So yeah, I would have to agree that dubs are just getting better and better. Someone says some people struggle with reading quickly, so it's valid to prefer dubs, but the subs are always better for me personally. Yeah, I feel like it being a debate is really silly because this should just be personal. The dub exists for a reason. It's meant to be consumed, and the people who worked on it care. So I'm glad that things are dubbed and subbed. I just have my own preference, really. I really do. Sometimes I always want to hear the OG language and character / actor. Yeah, because I also feel like low key it does change the character, not in a bad way. I feel like, especially with a lot of animated things, and maybe I shouldn't say this, but it's literally because it's two different performances, not because it's two different languages. It's two different human beings who have performed this character. It's a different character. And I will oftentimes have appreciation for both. And I'll be like, oh, I love the way I keep saying sub. I love the way the subtitle version of this character delivers it versus the dub version or whatever. But I struggle to consider it to just all be one thing because I feel like delivery is such a huge part of like me processing a character. Someone said the Ghost Stories dub. Well, that's just an entirely different thing. That was so ridiculous. Someone says it's like if two people did the same character in a live action. Basically, yeah. I love it though. It's fun. Someone says I want subtitles on the screen even if I'm listening to the dub. Yes. Yes. Subtitles on screen always. Always, 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 always. And if you're hanging out at my apartment, it's subtitles on. I'm sorry. I'm not asking. I don't care. You're going to be okay. Subtitles on. Always. For the love of me, absolutely cannot process any audio coming from a television unless I have subtitles. And I don't know why. I don't think it's good, and I've stopped asking questions. I absolutely refuse to watch anything without subtitles ever, because if I do, I don't know what they're saying. I don't care that it's in English, which is my first and only language. I could literally watch an entire 26-minute episode and be like, yeah, I have no idea what happened because there's no subtitles on. So yeah, I need me. It's a necessity, not a preference. I don't know why. Someone said the Death Note dub wasn't that bad though, but I'm a subtitle girly. I like the dub for Death Note. It's very fun. Someone said subs on Love Island. I absolutely had subs on Love Island. I did. Subtitles on. Always. So I was watching the UK version, so I really need subtitles on because I don't be it's a me problem. Everybody is speaking English, but I'm not equipped enough to understand it in all of its forms. So subtitles are very useful for me for the UK version doubly. But yeah, even on the US version, don't care. Someone said there's enough traffic noise where I'm at that I need subs regardless. A truck goes by and there goes 6 seconds of audio. True, because it's not like I can just turn it up loud enough. Like, I live in an apartment. I got neighbors. I don't want anyone filing a noise complaint because I was trying to turn things up loud enough to hear. Because loud enough to hear for me is loud. It's loud. And I actually prefer having things... Does anybody prefer watching things not loud enough to hear? I don't know why. That's literally my preference. Like, if 15 is the level where I can comfortably hear it, I'm usually going to put it at 12 and then just turn the subtitles on. And I literally have no idea why, but I watch everything that way. My phone is never up loud enough for me to like actually hear it comfortably because I don't want to hear it comfortably. I don't want to. If I'm listening to music, yes, I will turn that up, but I don't know. I never feel the need to. I don't know. I'm just goofy. What can I say? Someone said, I wish raising the volume would help. That's the thing. I feel like me turning it up louder is not going to make it better. So why do I even need it to be loud enough to actually hear all the way? It's goofy. Someone said, I love just reading the subtitles at volume 12. It's literally 12 for me as well. And I don't know why. I mean, sometimes it'll have to be 15 or 8, depending on where I am. But usually 12 is like that sweet spot volume level for me. It's great. Someone says, same, I'm autistic. Yeah, I feel like in my case, the ADHD of it all, I'm sure has something, perhaps. But then you might enjoy this even if you're just neurotypical. Who really, really knows? Someone says, I also have to be careful with my ears. I think that's the thing too. After ruining my ears over a lifetime or an entire adolescence, during which my untreated misophonia, I tried to self-medicate essentially by listening to loud music all the time, so I never had to hear anything that would trigger that. And now I have tinnitus forever. I find myself enjoying quieter things. It makes me a little happier to have things turned down a little bit. Oh man. Someone says, has anyone ever turned up the volume because you can't hear, but then you realize the reason you can't is because it's too loud? I've never had that specific experience, but I've had the experience of like, oh, this is too loud, and then I turn it up louder. I think sometimes I'm just like, oh crap, where's the remote? And then I beep, 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 and push the volume up to the point where it's like, oh, I hope no one heard that. Because someone's literally going to complain. Because I'm stupid. Someone said tinnitus squad. Yeah, bro, tinnitus is such a mess. Tinnitus is bad. And like, well, for me, I'm kind of lucky though, because it's extreme. It never stops for me, but like, I'm okay with it. Sadly though, for some people, tinnitus can literally lead to like depression. It can lead to like suicidal thoughts of just like literally not being able to take this noise that is happening in their ears all the time. And yeah, I consider myself lucky. I don't get depressed personally, but I just feel like this is just the way I am. I'm never not gonna have this ringing in my ears, but yeah, I don't think people take it as seriously as they should, for real. It's so bad. Someone said tinnitus at night is hell. Yeah, I can. Oh, what a mess of a problem to have, truly. Someone said take care of your ears. Hearing aids are expensive. Well, yeah, that too. Like, there's all kinds of things that can happen with your hearing, but for me, it was definitely the ringing of it all. Someone says my husband has that as an autistic. It's double bad. Oh, I'll tell you what bothers me about my tinnitus. It's not that there's a constant ringing in my ear. It's that it's 2 different tones. So happy about that. That's the thing that I was like, thank you, Jesus and God and the universe and whoever is responsible for this. I'm so glad that, at least in my experience of tinnitus, it's not the same noise that's playing in both of my ears. I feel as though they are almost half a step removed away from each other. And here, I can explain what that means, actually. I'm going to sign in. I've literally done this exact thing before. I've shown you this, but I'm showing you again. I will take any and every opportunity to complain about the way I are. Oh God, I got to sign in. Okay, wait, actually, I don't feel like doing that. I'm going to open Ableton. Chat, let's just open Ableton. I'm also living for the background being Billy Bob Thornton explains famous blood vial necklaces with Angelina Jolie. That was a mess. Okay, hold on. Live unexpectedly quit. No, I don't care. It doesn't matter. I promise you. Okay, so let's see. Let's go over here. Oh, I'm pressing the wrong button. Let's go over here and I'm going to rename this one like, or we don't need to rename it, dog. Okay, so here we're just going to make this like a grand piano or something. Yeah, sure. Don't care. So it doesn't sound like a piano sound. It's just a little beep, obviously, right? But it's kind of like if I had like a G3 happening. And so at all times, you just heard like this, I guess. But then also, if in my other ear I had like a G sharp, right? But then if like they were playing together all the time. But actually, if it was like really high, yeah, right about there, honestly, yeah. At all times, all the time, never not. And you know what the worst thing is for me? Actually, I at least consider this half step to be a valid like thing, and what I mean by that is like I could at least separate them if there was this much distance between them, but there's even less distance. It's almost the exact same tone, just a few cents above the other one, and it's just like ah! That's how I literally feel like that meme of that guy like ripping off his headphones like, oh, what is this? So yeah, that's the worst thing about tinnitus for me. Why couldn't it have just been the same sound, like a little pleasant G happening? Womp. I hate it. Someone said it's very unpleasant. It's unpleasant for me, that's for sure. Someone said I should probably stop living in these headphones. Hey, maybe you can wear headphones all the time and not have this as a problem. But that wasn't in the cards for me. Someone says I realized I have that too. Oh, bro. I'm sorry if this conversation made you remember about your tinnitus. That's the worst thing about it is for me, I literally can go days without remembering that I have tinnitus. Because how can you remember something that's always happening? But then someone will mention it, and I just like I stop and listen, and I'm like, oh yeah, I can hear it again. It happens all the time. Or like sometimes I will just think to myself like, oh wow, remember that one time that I used to have tinnitus? And then in the silence that follows that thought, I hear that I still have it. And I'm like, oh, just kidding. That literally never went away. So, yikes. It's not good. Someone says the worst is having it wake me up in the middle of the night. See, I am lucky. I've never had that experience. And that literally sounds hellish. It sounds hellish. Someone says I can only hear it in silence. It's loud as hell in silence, for real. It's so annoying, bro. Someone says it's like two different fire alarms with different frequencies, but instead of going beep beep, it's one big beep. It's literally just been sustained for like, I don't know, 10 years, 20. I don't know how long at this point, and I gave up, honestly. Some of mine's here again too. So sorry for all the people who are like, oh great, now I remember about this, but that's okay. It'll go away again just as fast as it came. Someone said I have one eye floaters I can see, and when I try to look at it, it's, wait, is that not normal? I thought everyone had those. Doesn't everybody have those floaty things in your eye? I'm looking at mine right now. I can see them. It's like little blurry dots that feel like they're on the actual surface of my eyelid. And as I move my eyes around, am I not supposed to have those? I for some reason thought I was simultaneously the only person to have those, and also no one else, and also everyone else had them. Someone said they're normal. Okay, thank God. But I will agree that like becoming aware of them is so, now they're the they're the only things I can think about. Oh my God. Okay, yeah, no, they suck. I have a really big one. I have like a big Wumbo eye floater that is constantly like on my periphery, but honestly I like rarely remember that that's there. Like I may become aware of that literally once every 6 months or something. Someone said the eye floater is back too. Yeah, now obviously I see it. I can't unsee it no matter what I do right here. Oh my God. Someone said they're normal but not universal. Okay, so I guess not every human has them, and I'm sure they're a lot worse for some people probably. I feel like mine are incredibly like subtle to the point where they're really easy to ignore. Um, that's no fun, bro. Someone said, can anyone else just unfocus their vision on command? I can do that. I just be going like this. I'm not focused anymore. I'm looking off into, I think, the distance. I'm looking off into the past. But yeah, I don't know. I can do it. Someone said, speaking of tonight, you guys sleep with music and audio on? I cycle through periods of doing that. I will have months at a time where I have a playlist called Good Night, where I have all these really like slow, soft songs, and I'll just put that on a really low volume, and I'll put it on a timer to where like it stops playing after an hour, and I'm out like a light. But then sometimes I need absolute and total silence, so it'd be like that sometimes. Someone says I dissociate a lot doing that. Yeah, when I am just not thinking about anything, I think I'm never actually looking at anything either. I'm just here. I'm literally just here. Someone says I can only sleep with music on. That's valid though. It really is. Why are we all just like, this is such an interesting conversation. I've never talked to I've never talked to another human being about my eye floater thingies. I've never talked to anybody about putting on music to sleep. This is so funny. I listen to scientists talk through their papers to fall asleep because those peeps keep their voices level. Bro, I bet I might literally try that. That literally sounds so like such a good sleep aid. I mean, some people, even though I absolutely do not talk level, put me on to sleep, not intentionally. I've been told before though that like, yeah, I put like, people don't want to offend me, and I think they will if they're like, yeah, I put your stuff on and I went to sleep. But I'm like, that's not offensive to me, because really, baby watch time is watch time. But also like, that to me just means I can be calming. Now granted, knowing me, I'm probably going to start screeching any moment, so I don't think I am a reliable sleep aid, but I'm here for you. If that somehow works for you, glad, happy. Someone said your voice is comforting. Yeah, I think I'm usually level. I just have those moments where I break out into being up here because I'm dead. I'm screaming. I'm literally screaming. So it's a timbre. Yeah, I have like. Yeah, I have an interesting voice. I don't know. I like my voice. I've met people who like kind of sort of look like me ish. Kind of, not really. No, I've never met anyone who looks like me. And I've also never met anyone who sounds like me. Maybe there is someone I don't know of who just talks the exact way that I do. I used to be really self-conscious too about the way that I spoke, because I just hated how like, sometimes I'm like up here, I'm screaming, and then other times I'm like down here and I feel like I sound emotionless or whatever. But then one day I gave up trying to sound like anything. And now I just sound like this all the time. So what can you do about it? So you have a very warm voice. Yeah, I think I do. It's like blanket vibes is how I feel. Like a little boring, a little thick. And that's just me in general. I'm a little boring and a little thick in the head. Not thick of body, sadly. Sadly. Whoever made me at the Me Factory, or the Human Factory, was like, yeah, this one's going to be thick. And this one's going to be thick too. And yeah, we're going to make this one thick. Oh, him? He's going to be thick in the head. And then we're like, next person, yeah, they can be thick all they want. I'm a little put off by that, because whose idea was that? But alas, that's okay. Here I am. We can't have it all. I'm many things, but thick in the back is not one of them. No. It's really, really, really not. Someone said throwback to D'Angelo's forced monotone voice in videos. Yeah, when I first started YouTube, literally like, well, what was that, 2018 or something? I mean, I had been doing YouTube before that, but that's when I started doing voice stuff. I used to deliver all of my videos like this because I was insecure about going above a certain frequency, and I just like, it was so put on, honestly. And I felt like if people were gonna call me monotone, I wanted to give them a reason to call me monotone. And also I didn't want to seem like I was all over the place. But then I realized at a certain point, I am simultaneously monotone and all over the place. And that's my biggest strength. That's the thing that makes me is like, yeah, he's always kind of here, but then he also does this. And I'm like, exactly. That's who I am, for real, for real. Someone said you needed a nerf. Yeah, the universe was like, he can't be all of those things and be walking around with like a whole dump truck. We can't have that. And so I got nerfed, and they were like, okay, fine. I give more, I fear, high fashion runway than like backup dancer in a Beyonce music video. And I've accepted that for myself. I'll be like, okay, then fine. Catch me on the runway. Even though I feel like we should all be there. It should not take one specific type of person. But I'm that type of person. I'm not sicky. So I gotta go because I have a 30-minute work meeting, but stay cool. Ooh, have fun, even though I don't know how much fun you can have at a 30-minute work meeting, but I hope it goes well for you. I really, really do. Someone says, is there any reason you don't use your main channel? Well, I'm using it soon once I get this Love Island video worked up. It's mostly just because out of all the videos that I've uploaded here on this channel, like my last 100 and what, 40? 130 videos? I've put up so many videos, man. None of them are that big of a deal. Every single time I go live on this channel or I upload a video, I'm talking about something that doesn't really take that much research and is not that big of a deal. And I feel like on my main channel, people have come to expect a video essay about something that I put a lot of thought into over a very long period of time. And I haven't had anything to say. And I really don't like the idea of like forcing content to be deeper than it actually is. So I moved all of the silly little topics over here, or just, it's not always silly, but the more lighter topics over here. And I told myself the next time I have something to say, I'm going to say it on the big channel. And that's where I am now with the Love Island stuff, because I'm truly pissed off. I'm appalled. I'm upset. I'm upset. Someone said you have a body built for speed and agility. We could all be built for speed and agility. That's the thing, though. I'd be going to run clubs. Never assume how fast somebody is based on how they look. Because on God, it'd be the people you just don't expect that are just, I'm like, where is that coming from? How? But yeah, I like to tell myself I'm just efficient is how I think of my body. I have an efficient physique, which makes it nice, I guess, to run long distance or whatever. But no, it'd be the fastest people imaginable. I'm just like, how? What the hell? It's crazy. Someone said, do you consider yourself trans? I think I just am, whether I consider myself or not. Non-binary is under the trans umbrella. But also, I just primarily and really only think of myself as a non-binary person, if that helps. I'm not one of those people who's like, no, take me out from under the umbrella. I've certainly had my own experiences, but yeah, when I think of me, I just think NB, and I don't know, I don't think much deeper than that. That's how I feel. Ask 10 different non-binary people and get 10 different non-binary answers, and they'll all be equally valid for real. Someone said no word. What's the Love Island stuff? We'll get there someday. Don't worry. We can finally move on from it. Someone said hi, people. Hi, internet user. Glad you're here. Reading chat. Someone said, true, don't judge athletic ability off of what you can see. Big girls in my yoga class literally kicked my behind, popping splits like it's nothing. People want to act like yoga is only skinny people. Dude, for real. I think in people's minds, they associate flexibility with thinness for some reason. They are literally not correlated. You don't have to be thin to be flexible. I have literally seen people do things and I'm like, how? I could stretch every single day of my life and never get to that point. So yeah, no, there's really just no way to be, no one way to be anything. You could be fast and look any kind of way. You could be flexible and look any kind of way. And that's why I just tell myself, I have no excuse. I just need to do my best and look the way that I naturally look and not worry about what anybody else is doing. Somebody said that's my MB answer as well. Yeah, that's the one I give. Someone said you can be thin and still stiff. I know I am. As a runner, I have to fight against the stiffness all the time because my hamstrings want to betray me, brother. They betray me. And for what? I've been so good to them. Yes, I might force them to carry me for 6 miles unprompted on a random evening, but they should be nicer to me over that. They really should. Someone said, Danzel, please tell us where you got that sweater. I envy it every video. I choose not to promote it because, like, I don't know. Like, brother, it's just difficult sometimes. Like, as try being an influencer for a day, I hate promoting brands ever. But I got the sweater from a place called Minga London. Minga, Minga London. And it's super dope. I got multiple copies of this, obviously. It's fantastic. I love it so much, but at the same time, I just what am I gonna do when I find out something horrible? And then 50 videos I've told people, yeah, you can buy this sweater too. So they're not getting free promo from me just because they made a really good product, but I am happy with all of my purchases from there. Yes, I am. I buy from like the most cringe shops imaginable. Here, let me show you some places that have my sort of style going on. PC. Someone said, what's the name of your intro music? I Shazammed it 3 times trying to casual listen to it, and all 3 gave me different and wrong results. It's my original song that I produced from scratch in Ableton Live called Second Form. So yeah, that's why you can't find it, because I never put it on streaming services. All right, so I'm trying to think, like, what brand should I pull? Should I do Affliction? You know what? I like Affliction's clothing. Screw it. I mean, I think Affliction is like pretty ugly stuff, but like I be wearing this in my day-to-day life. I don't care. It's very tacky. I think the other day I literally wore one of my like cringe awful Affliction cross t-shirts. Yeah, it was this one right here actually. Oh wait. Okay. It was basically like this, but like on the back with like angel wings across the entire back. I'd be wearing Affliction all the time. Who else do I enjoy wearing? Oh, I like Sullen. Sullen's really fun, especially like if you're into like tattoos and stuff. Sullen has like a lot of really fun stuff. I mean, I ignore all the clothes that are like, yeah, woman's face or whatever. I just want like the boring dark clothes with skulls on them. Those are really fun. I have like this Sullen hat I got recently with skulls on it. Now that I'm trying to think of brands, I can't think of any brands. Oh, I like Trip pants. I literally have like 5 or 6 pairs of Trip NYC pants because those are so fun. I literally feel like these pants were made for me. In fact, I might have this exact pair. And yes, I absolutely zip off the bottoms of my Trip pants when it gets hot here, and I wear them exactly like this. Depending on where I go, I will obviously take off all the little droopy thingies because I don't want to trip and eat dirt. But yeah, I wear a lot of those. Those are fun. So yeah, Affliction. Oh, Ed Hardy. How could I forget? I love Ed Hardy. Yeah, Ed Hardy originals. I mean, again, it's pretty hard to escape this being interested in like tattoo culture or vibes at all. Like this right here, I would wear this right now. I'm surprised I don't already own this. This really ugly crosses hat. I mean, you got to be careful, obviously, because you don't want stuff to veer too close into a certain image. But personally, the way I see it, I'm reclaiming all of this. All of these clothes used to be worn by the worst people imaginable. Ed Hardy and Affliction clothes, and all of these were like the not Trip pants. These are a staple for like ravers. Leave them out of this. But like all of this, the Affliction of it all of that was just a certain like douchebag bro vibe energy. And so I feel like my goal in life is to wear these clothes and be a nice person. So I put on my ridiculous like, you know what? Stay right there. Stay right there. I'm gonna be right back. Make sure I'm not like falling apart. Oh well, look, you can see my shorts right here. Can you see my shorts? Anyways, I'll be right back. Okay, hold on. I knocked over my whole chair scenario. Ugh. I have to sit on like a booster seat because my camera is so high. All right. Anyways, look. I just pulled 3 random things from my closet. These are things that I would have worn other than what I'm wearing right now. So like, look, this is pretty dope. This is pretty lit. We've got this affliction. I really love this one with like the gothic angel wings on the background, and it has like all that like weird text energy. It's like something that would be in the background of an anime in the 2000s while like the coolest J-Rock song you've ever heard is playing. I think this is one of my Stay Cold hoodies. A lot of the clothes in my closet look like this. Probably almost all of my essentials just kind of are dark with like cringe metal printed on them. The more like gothic black letter fonts is on them, usually the better. I haven't gotten to wear this shirt a lot yet, but I'm very excited to do so. I think this is my favorite recent purchase, and I'm still waiting for like the perfect opportunity to wear that. But yeah, my closet is literally just full of that. And so when I dress like this in my videos, it's not just for the videos. I actually dress like this. And it's very fun. I love it. It's great. Someone said D'Angelo / Shinigami coded. Yes, I'll show you. I've said this before, and some may have thought that I was joking, but I couldn't have been more serious. I am just quite literally always trying to evoke Ryuk from Death Note. Everything that I've ever done, said, or thought is with the intention of being perceived this way. So yeah, anything that gets me a little closer to that, I'm probably just going to be like, hey, I wonder if there's a place for this in my wardrobe, and then I'll get it. And honestly, I'd be re-wearing the hell out of my clothes. Like, I don't have 50 different fits or whatever. I'm like, I'm going to wear this until it wears out, and then I'll get something else. And it's fun. I love it. It's great. It's fantastic. Someone said cringe metal vibes make the best clothing. Yeah, they do. But yeah, I just feel like the disparity between the way I'm presenting myself outwardly and who I actually am is hilarious, because a lot of the people I know nowadays also dress like this, and are just really sweet. They're just like completely normal people. They're not tryhards, they're not elitists, they're not gatekeepers, they're not, I don't know. We just think that the clothes are cool. And if you're gonna wear something, why not wear something tacky? Honestly, life is, for me, way too short to wear clothes that are actually considered nice by everybody in this world. So I really don't care what anybody else thinks about, I guess, that particular style. I just know it makes me feel happy when I do it. Someone said, do you like Uniqlo? I think I have 2 shirts from Uniqlo, 2 polos. They're just pretty basic, but they've never failed me, so shout out Uniqlo, I guess. Someone said, this is great for me because I need new clothes. Mine are falling apart. Yeah, I'm going to be using these until they're gone. That's all I know. Someone said Uniqlo is boring central. No offense to anyone who shops there. Uniqlo is good for the essentials. That's the thing. Like, I don't think you can find things there that look like this or that would shock me. But if you just need like a simple t-shirt to go under, maybe more ecstatic polo or whatever, you can do that. I like to use Uniqlo polos to go on top of like cooler tanks and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't think I wear them by themselves, but they definitely do serve a purpose. It's pretty great. Someone said thanks for showing your fits off. No problem. What was I made for? Okay, anyway, chat. That's all I've got. That's all I got. I don't got nothing else. Someone said wearing baggy all black clothing so no one can tell what gender I am. Exactly. That's the vibe and will always be the vibe. I'm going to leave you for now. Put up a video tomorrow, probably about the thing we talked about today. Brad Pitt, Angelina, come back. I don't know exactly what I'm going to be talking about on Thursday. I will either whip up the Millie Bobby Brown thing or the meta glasses thing, or I will come back with another topic entirely. And yeah, or I won't come back at all, but I will probably be back. Bye, everybody. I've enjoyed it. All right. Let's see.